Fuck you, Capcom.
I know.
Suck my dilts.
Truly hellish.
Yeah, video games is a nightmare. Oh boy. Time to listen to my nasally voice for like 2 hours. Amazing. Entertainment. April 28th.
Capcom ain't that bad.
Fine, I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. He's been like that since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. That's me right now. In real life, I mean. I'm stressed as fuck. Anyway, poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up over all this. Get it together, Apollo. Yikes, Athena. When did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will you? You're getting yourself way too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nahuta Shadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Oh yeah? What did you find out?
Apollo is so stressed his hair stands up.
Now that's some lore. Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. Man, this isn't going to be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she talked to him first, though. I was hoping that went well. In any case, it sounds like he's going to keep us on our toes. That's why I know you're ready. I know I can leave Truce in the office to you. Believe in you, Apollo. Papa Phoenix believes in us. Drinking some Coke because, you know, the best medicine against stress is caffeine. I don't know, whatever. Fine, I'm fine, I'm fine! There he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer. Fine, I am fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. If you say so, Apollo. The trial will start momentarily. Is the defense ready? Yes! We're fine! Truce's fate and the fate of the agency rests on this trial. This is it, Justice. If there ever was a time to shine, it's now. Can do. There's your ASMR.
Oh man, I'm coming already.
Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Dot. And the prosecution. Dot. Prosecutor Shadmati? 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim. Oh, praying. Yeah, sure. You're a crayon monk, correct, prosecutor? That is correct. I'm but a lowly monk from the kingdom of Crayon.
He has his hand in the main position.
I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I'm unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country and may make many blunders. He seems like such a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him about Trucy. Now then, Prosecutor Shadmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace known as the Twilight Realm. Now, let the lost rites of the victim begin. Nahuta Shadmati. He's really been making a name for himself, apparently, but that nickname, Lost Rights Prosecutor, wonder how that will come into play today. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which he thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Man of Mystery, otherwise known as the Great Mr. Roos. His blood was found in the sword that was used during the magic trick. So his death was just an unfortunate accident? It is only natural for one to assume such, Your Honor. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident. I see. And you believe this crime was committed by the defendant? That's. After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I unfortunately had no other choice but to conclude as much. So that's how it's going to be, huh? It's interesting though, because he does not directly accuse Trucy of having done it, but rather he says he has found no other option for it. So he's not immediately on the offensive. I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all. Very well, and now let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain that the defendant is innocent, Your Honor.
That's how justice system works.
If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? My reasoning? Well, would have to say that my main reasoning is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? What a fine demonstration of the fact that you're indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. Oh, okay, there. Never mind. Putrid mind? Prosecutor Shadmati? Excuse me, but I don't... What is this Naruto bullshit? Man, what a weeb. If you don't mind my asking, prosecutor, what was that you were just chanting? A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul toward enlightenment. It is a crayonistic incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused. I see, so basically you're asking the defense to get real? Thank you. I love you, Judge. Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners and to guide victims' souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you show repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But, should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell, along with Trucy Wright. That's... Now wait just a minute here. Putrid pit of hell? Is that any way to address someone in a court of law? Prosecutor Shadmati, that may be the way you conduct trials in Crayon, but I would appreciate it if you could refrain from such charged language here. Your Honor, that was but a crayonistic sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason. Oh, I see. I didn't realize. I guess they really do hate defense attorneys in Crayon, huh? Even still, that was way over the top as far as verbal abuse goes. The trial's only just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by a country. Why don't we look at this as cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded about it? What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Oh boy, she's stressed. Uh-oh. I thought she said goodbye to the snackoos. Detective Sky, the courtroom is no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girl's gotta eat, right? She, seems a little stressed out. Detective Sky, your testimony, please. Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Tracy Wright is innocent. I'm sorry? Gingy, why are you late? And why is that a crime against humanity?
I'm late. I was distracted by a different stream.
Ah. You are betraying us. I see how it is. Very, very disrespectful. Detective Sky, this path you seek to follow is misguided.
Yes.
Giving a wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end. But let it go and move on. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother. Why does she care? I mean, I don't think she believes in the religion. Fine. I don't know about the divine part, but I get the punishment bit loud and clear. I guess Emma got assigned to tons of paperwork or something for sticking up to Trucy. She and Prosecutor Shinmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. The evidence, if you would, Detective Sky. Alright. Please take a look at this poster. It's a Troop Grammar poster from 13 years ago. Huh? Is it just me or is it a little different from the one in Mrs. Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of that poster. This one says consuled under Mr. Roos. That's right, Mr. Roos left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at Mr. Roos's right forearm, near his elbow. See the big scar there? He apparently got that when he made a mistake while practicing a magic trick. Ouch, that's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifique Grammary concluded Mr. Roos was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifique announced Mr. Roos wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of Magnifique's decision, Mr. Roos tried to get on stage anyway. Thus, in turn, caused Magnifique to oust Mr. Roos from the troupe on the spot. He kicked Mr. Roos out? Seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? When it came to magic, Troop Grammary was so passionate, or should I say extreme about it, that it caused problems for them from time to time. Yeah, they even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics. And now the troop's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troop's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality. You sound rather extreme yourself, Prosecutor. Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor.
This guy is not very nice.
He is a hypocrite, which is very good. As I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Roos apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troop. Who tell those close to him, I will get my revenge on Troop Grammary someday. Revenge, that certainly sounds antagonistic. Also, place your bets how long this trial is going to take. I'm going to say 4 hours. And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you will be so kind, Detective Sky.
I'll say 5.
I guess I don't have a choice, do I? The victim planned to get his revenge on Troop Grammary during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Roos was going to first steal the Grammary notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind her magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. That doesn't make much sense. By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Roos and make it look like an accident. Objection! It's nothing but conjecture. The victim's assistant, Bonnie DeFemme, gave the police a statement. She testified that just before the start of the show, Mr. Roos said, "I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gromery's secrets on stage today." What? Well, that isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it? You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, Defense. Oh, and what's that? Here's some Naruto signs. Motherfucker, better remember them. Excuse me? Helping a sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclear soul will burn in the flames of hell. And then be ever burdened with that sin in their next life. This guy is almost as annoying as the fucking dude in Edgeworth Investigations 2. I could not get myself to finish Edgeworth Investigations 2 because I was so pissed off at this one dude in there. Ah, he made me so mad. This guy is almost as bad. But I don't believe in that sort of thing.
I didn't know Investigations 2 was localized.
It was not, but there's a fan translation that's complete. Besides, I have no intention of giving up. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. I really miss... What was his name? Gavin or whatever, the dude who was a rock star? Because he was actually, like, a lawyer you could like from the get-go. Everyone else is always just a huge asshole.
Clavier.
Yes. Why is everyone else always just fucking dick? All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life. A stink bug? Now then, Mr. Stink Bug, I mean Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please. God damn it. During Trucy's magic show, Mr. Roos is going to first steal the Gromery notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. I'm not sure where to present the notebook, but it's locked, so... I'm gonna press first to see... Hold it! I'm going to reveal all of Troop Gromery's secrets on stage today. That's what Mr. Roos himself said, right? Right, but he didn't exactly specify which Gromery secrets he was talking about. But the prosecution thinks he was referring to the secrets behind Troop Gromery's magic. Yes, that is the prosecution's assertion. When the accused realized that Mr. Roos was to reveal her family's most closely guarded secrets, she naturally panicked. So basically, Trucy's notebook was hiding in Mr. Roos's things because he had stolen it himself? I see. Truly a motive that only a magician could have. That's what the prosecution believes, anyway. I just don't know where to present the fucking notebook, though. Do you really believe what you're saying, Detective Sky? Do you really think Miss Wright killed Mr. Roos to stop him from getting the secrets? Of course I don't think that. Trucy, keep your private considerations separate from your public duty. I warned you about this very thing before the trial began, did I not, Detective Sky? Yes, you did. Please recite my exact words to you. Emma Sky, you are a detective first and foremost, not the accused's friend. Remember your duty and fulfill it faithfully. Excellent, so you do remember what I said to you. I don't know about the accent, though. Your devotion to your work will be rewarded, for the Holy Mother sees all. This Holy Mother is no scientific concept I've ever heard of. Those two really don't get along, do they? Well, science and religion go together about as well as oil and water. As I was saying, Um... I mean, you know, one of the problems with this game is that if you lose, you have to do it all over again, and the game doesn't give you saves or anything. So even if you know what you should do, if you don't know exactly where to present it, you might get fucked. So I'm kind of scared about this. Actually, let me tell you what. How about this? If I get down to 1 lost life, someone can look up the walkthrough and at least tell me whether I'm right with what I was about to do. So I can spare myself having to do everything over again. And I can still, like, try to figure it out. Alright. Let's give it a shot, and that was wrong. Ah, boy. See, we're already in fucktown. God damn it, game. Fine, I'll just fucking press everything. I did press this, right?
Just press everything.
Yeah. Sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it was murder? Beats me. What? The basis is beats me? I'll have to ask Prosecutor Shadmati over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either. Detective Sky, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed by my eyes. He has it closed, though. He hasn't, you know, the eyes. Anyway. Bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer. Ah! Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit. Anything but that. Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything for us. Well, Prosecutor Shadmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? Oh, it's the luminous tape in the understage passage. I realized that it had been moved. Moved so that Mr. Roos would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake. What? Mr. Roos, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area. After being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1, Mr. Roos was supposed to come back to life and emerge from that coffin. But the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on the stage itself by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape? But of course, Detective Sky. Oh, that's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape. You what? You actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it all go and move on? Absolutely not. Detective, please add the information about the prints on the tape to your testimony. The defendant's prints were on the tape. I guess she must have moved it during the show.
Hold it!
But she has gloves. What made you think to check the luminous tape for prints? Well... But it was Detective's intuition. I dusted not just the tape, but just about everywhere for fingerprints. Oh? I dusted pretty much every single surface in the theater. I mean, it was so nice to be able to dust for prints without anybody getting mad at me. It's great that you're enthusiastic, Emma, but there is such a thing as too enthusiastic. Tape was moved to guide Mr. Roos into the coffin that was downstage. That's true, it does sound like a murder rather than an accident. It certainly doesn't help that Trucy's prints are on the tape. Ugh. Wish I knew what sound would even be appropriate to make in this situation. Hmm. Can I not present profiles in this? Oh. Weird.
No, you cannot present profiles in the newer games.
Interesting.
Objection!
This says she wears gloves. Gloves though, so that's fine. Sorry, detective, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Oh, really? The prosecution is claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin downstage. But it doesn't make sense that she would leave prints on the tape at the time. It doesn't? Please consider the fingerprinting results of the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints was found on or in it. That's true, we didn't find any of her prints on that coffin. I think you've realized what the flaw in your testimony is. Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with the facts. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Oh! She must have left the prints somewhere before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation was insufficient. Oh my. But on a personal level, I'm very happy about that. Well, prosecutor Shadmati, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim. See, apparently the defense is more intelligent than I had thought. More than a stink bug at any rate. Come on, you can bump me up to at least a stag beetle now, can you? That really be any better?
Emo
Of course,
is so
way
nice.
better. Stag beetles are cool with those huge mandibles of theirs. If the defense wishes to promote it to a stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot. Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide. And entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust a sword into said coffin with the victim in it. But he could... Like, none of this makes any sense because the back coffin is way smaller. Like, we know that it was cramped. And this one is way taller, so he would have known which coffin he's entering as he was entering it. And he could have just left it again. The accused then thrust a sword into said coffin with the victim in it. So what you're saying is the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death, right? Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of this case. If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death could have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue that it was involuntary manslaughter. Nope, we're gonna say full acquittal. If it was involuntary manslaughter, they could plead extenuating circumstances, and the severity of the crime could be mitigated. Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue that it was an accident? This is it, the all-important question. Defense argues that Mr. Russo's death was... Defense maintains that the defendant is entirely innocent. We believe that it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. A third party? As in, the true culprit is someone else?
Murder.
Murder. Huh. That's quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous lives. been demoted to a vegetable? Wow, I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear this reasoning of yours, then. Alright, but before I give it, there's one question that we need to address. If the victim was killed by some third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? A very good question. Now let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up inside the coffin? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? Oh, I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Shatmati? That is the third time. The third time of what? Yeah! What the fuck is this? This guy has watched way too much Naruto. Ah, my head! What do you think you're doing? Even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you need to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred lost rights for the victim. You are a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon. Humble.
I'm sure he would be friends with Black Quill.
Probably. Sermon now? There's a passage in the sacred scriptures of crayonism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake. Huh? By the way, how did like fucking Mia ever become a lawyer? You know, since she's also a crayonist initially. Like, how did that ever happen? I don't get it. Anyway, the corner lawyer has unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get it right?
Who knows?
No, for I am not done with my sermon.
I'm sure it was answered in the original trilogy.
No, it wasn't. Because this whole stuff about the Crayon Village was never established until now. Like, all this stuff about them hating prosecutors and stuff was never anywhere in the games until now. Just great. And in this case, you are that frog defense. What exactly is your point anyway? Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who then had the opportunity to do so during the show? Let's see, the people in the show were Bonnie the Femme, the victim Mr. Roos, and Trucy Wright. Bonnie the Femme was on stage throughout the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage from the show. Which leaves us with only one suspect, Trucy Wright. Ah. Now do you see?
The reason why people from Kurain split into the village in Jap America is explained within this game.
Oh, okay. Alright. Well, at least they didn't leave a glaring plot hole like that. Good. The accused killed Mr. Roos as he waited on standby in the understage passage, and then placed his dead body in the coffin above, thus making the murder look like an accident. Ah! Also, I shouldn't have drank that Coke because now I gotta piss. So, might have to go for a break soon. Oh great, I know it's jolly fun, but that's not a repeat of mine as being I wish I could skip text. I can't believe I swallowed this trick question whole.
Objection! Piss your pants.
No. Sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena, what are you... There's something I want to point out, Apollo. And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance. I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same. And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity? I most certainly would. You just argued that the defendant killed the victim under the stage, but let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl. Clearly. Surely you didn't raise an objection simply to point out such an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her home. But I'm not done with my sermon. I need to talk like Prosecutor Shadmati, you know? Listen, if the victim was killed in the understage passage, then his body would have been...
Your Honor, the defendant is a girl with boobs.
Then his body would then have to be hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have hefted that large body up and put it into the coffin. That's
Maybe
true.
C is jacked.
It does seem like it would be a rather difficult task for the defendant. I don't think even I could do it. What do you think of that, asshole? In my religion, the priestesses of crayonism are revered as the pillars of our beliefs, so I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. Oh god, he's one of those guys. I also think highly of the female perspective. Ah, Jesus Christ. God damn it, this guy is such a fucking nerd. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure he would start tipping hats any minute now. Says the man who called this fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? I agree that your point is worth discussing, defense. How, indeed, was the dead body raised up into the coffin? By the accused Trucy Wright, that is. You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, huh? Then you explain how that even be possible. But of course.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
About as nice as... like, okay, yeah. He's a quote-unquote nice guy, just like all the other quote-unquote nice guys on the internet, in that they're actually assholes and they just think they're nice. It was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up. Wait, you really can't explain it? Of course, the fucking things. I foresaw that our arguments would come to this, so I have prepared a witness. Well, well. Admire your readiness, prosecutor. It is really not that difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial. Hold on for a sec. I really gotta go pee, so I'll be right back. come back. Anyway.
Nahuta is obviously a self-educated and defined intellectual.
He couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, would he? Could he? It's pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, but may I step down now? I suppose yes, you may. One moment, Detective Sky.
Let's get euphoric.
I'm sorry for, you know, the way I handled all of this. You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable. It was? Yes. You served well as a detective and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame the conflicted emotions you felt and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work. Oh, thanks. Hope we can work together again in the future. Emma seems to be wildered by the unexpected praise. I guess he's a pretty nice person, like they say, as long as you're not up against him. Well, okay, but that's the opposite of being nice. You're only nice if you're nice while confronted with things against... whatever. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm Lagamore, thing illustrated.
I'm a pretty nice guy as long as you don't get to know me.
I'm a lacomorphing illusionist from the land of fairy tales, Bonnie the Fun. Can't wait to see some magic tricks for all of you. Please, witness, there's a time and a place for all things, including magic. Aw, but it will be okay if I just do a little magic, right? Come on, please. Look, everybody's waiting. Now's my chance to shine. No chill, this guy. This is your second time. My second time doing what? There'll be no further warnings.
Shut the fuck.
You should know that from our preparatory meeting, correct? Yeah. Is no one exempt from His Holiness' Rosary of Suffering? May we have your testimony, witness, once you've recovered from your disappointment? Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, don't really want to testify against her, but if I have to, I mean... As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh? Sure, you're a real fan, alright. Of destroying Trucy, you mean? I really can't believe that Trucy killed Mr. Roos. I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up if she used a stage lift. Is it possible? Could Trucy really have? Trucy did use a stage lift, and I think she must have used stage lift number 2. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. You were on stage the whole time? And you're sure about that? There's no question. The entire audience could testify to that
She
fact.
lies.
What's more, she is shown clearly in the TV show footage as well. I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Roos, not little old me. Therefore, the only person who could have killed the victim on the stage is the accused. Furthermore, by using a stage lift, even a petite young lady could have raised the dead body up to the stage without difficulty. You've gotta be kidding me. Very well, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Well, at least there's an obvious statement to attack here. Yeah, whatever.
Hold it!
What makes you think it would be possible? It's not like you tried it out yourself, right? Well, actually, we did try it out for ourselves. You did? Detective Sky, if you would... Oh! So that's why you made me do that. Detective Sky, what did he have you do? The prosecutor asked me to try raising one of the male police officers with the stage lift. Without a single word of explanation as to why he was making me do it. You're kidding. It's as if he really can foresee all of our counter-arguments. Huh. Do not underestimate this humble servant of the Holy Mother. Yeah, humble. More like haughty. I guess that means Trucy could have lifted the dead body up. Does that mean...
Hold it!
Stage lift number 2. You mean the stage lift shown here on the left? That's right. With a stage lift, I think even a small girl could easily lift a dead body up to the stage. And so that makes her the murderer, in your opinion? Of course not. I believe in Trucy. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers. Oh, brother. How long is she gonna keep this act up? Defense, what position was stage lift number 2 in after the show? Let's see. If I recall, it was in the fully raised position. Ah! And the reason why it was fully raised is because the accused used it to lift the victim's body. Would you agree? Feel free to slowly mull it over while you roast over the flames of hell. You evil red pepper. So now I'm also evil? Okay. When is it gonna become red hot chili pepper? I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. I wonder if it's really possible for a small girl to lift a dead body up like the Bonnie claims. Prosecutor Chatmati also said Trucy was the only one who could have done it on the stage. This testimony sure isn't doing her case any favors.
Once his boyfriend, Clavier, teaches him play the guitar.
Are we... should we present this? I'm not sure. I think that might be too quick on the draw again, but I don't know.
Try it.
This one... I don't know.
Or, stream started buffering again. Press everything.
Didn't press everything because some of these statements seem absolutely useless. But I guess we're gonna press everything. Said you're a huge fan of Tracy. Trucy's, oh yes, I even became a magician because I wanted to be just like her. The first time I saw her, she was performing at the Wonder Bar. She was only in junior high back then, but she got up on stage with tons of confidence. Then she proceeded to win my heart with her astonishing tricks and winning.
Always press a statement. You mean to present evidence to before presenting anything.
I did press that one, and that didn't show anything useful. Certainly sounds like she means all of that. So finally being able to perform with her must have been quite a treat for you, right? Oh yes, after all, it was my chance to have her see me. Not just as a fan, but as a fellow magician. But then that horrible accident happened. It was not an accident, it was murder. Witness, please explain if you would. How a small young woman such as Trucy Wright could have raised a body. You press that. Trucy, we have what? Yeah. What I really believe? Of course I don't believe Trucy Wright could ever commit murder. Such an amazing and wonderful magician would never do such a thing. But taking all the facts into account, what else can I think? I know of at least 3 of other unflattering things you really think about Pussy. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense for her statement, even though it's, you know, her statement and that as dust doesn't really hold water in this. This one doesn't really have any information.
Objection!
Fuck me, come on, game! Any other ideas what I should fucking do here? I guess maybe they want this one. I have no goddamn idea and I'm frankly pissed off right now.
Maybe that Bonnie wasn't always on stage.
But she was, we have footage of that. I don't think I have any evidence to disprove that, right?
Didn't the camera move so she wasn't seen?
She couldn't have moved a fucking body during that time, my man.
Did you press everything?
Yes! What do you want from me, game?
Try not the statement, but the other thing showing what lift she used.
Yeah, that's my other
I
thought,
checked. This part continues once you do press
What?
everything. So you must not have pressed something.
but they press this. They press this.
Hold it!
Fine. Didn't have a single spare moment to slip down to the other stage passage. Don't tell me you suspect me now. I'm just trying to do my job by fully examining your alibi. Depending on how solid it is, I might have to suspect you, yes. You gotta be kidding me. Don't spit on my head and tell me it's raining, lawyer boy. I'm right here in the footage. Are you too much of an idiot to see? Huh? Mr. Fum, are you feeling alright? You seem suddenly different. Oh, oops. Where did that come from, right? Oh my, I seem to have snapped there for a second, didn't I? You didn't just snap, you broke character just now. In any case, I was on stage the whole time performing magic. I mean, you saw me in the footage, right? My dazzling and flawless performance? Flawless? That's odd, considering what you told me. You said that you made a mistake with where you positioned Mr. Hat. Mr. Fum, to what is the defense referring? Well, I made a little mistake on stage. I was in charge of operating Mr. Hat, you see. I really wish games like this would allow, like, multiple ways of doing things instead of requiring exactly one way of going about it. Because me presenting that piece of evidence there would have exactly done the same thing, but whatever. According to the script, I was supposed to place him on the left. And I flopped it up and made him stand to the right of the coffin instead. Because of that mistake, Trucy had to move the stage lifts around. I feel really bad about messing Trucy up like that with my goof. Hehe. Darn it, I don't see any inconsistencies. Hehehe, now do you know who the real killer is.
Everything. I assumed nothing else would show up.
Well, even if you don't have to press everything, it sucks, cause anyway. Come on, Grams, don't just sit there. Hand down your ruling, Prano. Do it quick before you keel over up there. I beg your pardon? Oops. Oh, what's gotten into me? I'm so sorry. I give her another 5 minutes before she tears off that mask. Well, defense? Are you ready to let it all go now? Of course not. I'll never give up. I see. I suppose this too is fate. The sacred scripts. I really don't care to read all this shit. There's one of those in my backyard. Wow, Crayonist hell is closer to home than I thought. Now then, it would appear that the witness's testimony supports the prosecution's claims that the defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim on the stage. Hey Apollo, if you can't find any contradictions, maybe it's time to use analytical psychology. You mean... I heard some discord in Bonnie's voice while she was testifying. See, Richard is picking up on the noise in her heart too. Oh boy, it's time for this shit again. Alright, let's give it a try.
Let's switch her personalities, boy.
Your Honor, I'm afraid that our witness, Mr. Fung,
Hooray!
is suffering under terrible traumatic stress due to this horrible incident. She is? Yes, what with that terrible death on stage, and her beloved Trucy getting arrested, she's under awful strain and shock. In fact, I don't know how much more she can take before she is unfit to testify. What? Oh, I've heard of that. What is it called? Postal stress disorder, right? It's where a person becomes uncontrollably angry, I think. I read about it somewhere. That's going postal, Your Honor. This is PTSD. Oh my. So that's why the witness acts so hostile at times, as if she were a different person. Yes, and I think her condition is clouding her memory of the incident. Therefore, I suggest a short therapy session for the witness. Therapy? You don't know the first thing about a magician's mental strength. Where's my life jumping through rings of fire and having my body sawn in half? Oopsie, boy, I have to watch my temper, don't I? Hee. Miss Sykes, please do whatever you can to help this unfortunate young lady. And what exactly is this child planning to do, Mr. Justice? With her super sensitive hearing, Miss Sykes can hear a witness's true emotions. Simply from tone and inflection, she can tell exactly what the person is feeling. Can you even pick up feelings that a witness don't express? Oh my god. Sounds like some sort of spurious devilry. I find it hard to believe, I must ask. How do emotions constitute evidence? While I won't say that emotions can be taken as evidence per se, I have seen how instrumental Miss Sykes' work has been in cracking a case. Therefore, I wholly support giving it a try. I see. If you're in favor of it, you don't have no objections. Even this mere monk can see it only disturbs the witness. I'll disturb you. Oh, thank you for understanding, Prosecutor Marty. Probably remember that you want me to lead the session? Of course, you're the lead on this case after all. Fair enough. But do I need a refresher? I don't remember this shit because Dual Destinies was like fucking, I don't know. It's probably super easy like everything, but whatever. So Bonnie's emotions are showing in the mood matrix, right? Yeah. Please let me skip text game. So, yeah, I get it. Thank you. Right, so, yeah, that was it. Let me play the fucking game now.
You asked for the tutorial.
I did, but I thought it might be.
Got it!
To say, Mr. Farm is certainly a strange one. By the way, I really don't
Got
enjoy.
him.
I really don't enjoy these gimmicks. Like neither Apollo's nor Athena's. I really think they're like stretching the court system to stupidity. It's like, I don't know.
I liked Psyche Locks.
Yeah, Cyclops were fine. Those were fine because you were like, you know, it was just a representation of,
I don't mind it.
you know, trying to get someone to confess to lies. But this is like, okay, so for some reason Apollo can like fucking see super twitches and shit, and for some reason when he pointed out people now confess. I don't know, I don't get that.
Are you saying it's too magical or something?
And then Athena does her mood thing, and for some reason I don't know, it's just, no, I don't know about too magical. It's just there's some kind of disconnect. It doesn't have enough groundedness, I guess. It feels like it doesn't belong.
Right. It's not logical.
It feels like it doesn't belong in the courtroom. It just makes it more like a fucking theme park or some shit. I don't know. Yeah. I think I can guess why you were feeling happy. It must be because
but then you have the maggot armor.
I think you were happy because you messed the defendant up. I'm right, aren't I? You gotta be kidding me. Why would I be happy I messed Trusty up? I'm a big fan of hers. Because we saw you. Neener, neener, neener. Hate her, loathe her. Can't stand that Trusty, right? Just because she look good at magic, she thinks she's all that. Yeah, we saw this already. I know we have to Mugatama and all that shit, but like in the first game, that wasn't really, you know, present. And it wasn't really all that present in the second and third games either. It was only the Psyche Locks, which was like a plot device to make sure that you know, like, your defendant isn't lying to you, which could have been handled differently, but it was fine. Like, it was minor, because actually unlocking the Psyche stuff still used the standard evidence-based stuff.
All right.
But this is kind of like, what? Anyway. We saw how you said how you hated Trucy, right? How you were glad she was in trouble, and even how it was what she deserved. It looks like I hit the bunny on the head, so to speak. Yeah. Well, Mr. Thumb, are you ready to confess how you really feel? What? What do you mean? I'm Bonnie, the sweet, cute little bunny. I'm a rookie magician working hard to be just like my idol, Trucy. That's the character I'm supposed to be. Keep that up, Mr. Thumb, and you're going to have a mental breakdown. Just let yourself be who you really are. Who I really am? The two sides of you are fighting each other and doing you psychic harm. I can hear them, the two distinct voices battling inside you. Shut the fuck up, you asshole. I mean, you mustn't say things like that or I might get flustered. Mr. Thumb, how do you insist on maintaining this wolf in sheep's clothing act? We can't end this therapy session until you get real with us. Yeah, get real, lady. No. Dots and stuff. Don't make me laugh. You don't know a dang thing about me. You want to see who I really am? Fine, take a good look.
How do you do, Mr. Lawyer?
Oh, okay. Okay. What in the world? She's sheep's clothing. You've got it all wrong. It's a rabbit suit I've got on. I'm not a wolf. I'm a blood-sucking vampire. A bat with fangs and wings.
She's bat.
Bat shit insane. What was that? What other thing?
Oh, she's just a goth.
Rat shit, bat shit.
What just jumped into my mind was like the fucking quote from Metal Gear Rising, where Raiden is talking with the senator, like, you're not greedy. You're batshit insane. I think we just opened Pandora's box. I'm finally done with that goody two-shots cottontail act. Feel free as a bat. Defense, your therapy session has taken a turn for the worse from the looks of it. There's a perfectly good explanation for this, isn't there, Miss Sykes? Methinks I created a monster. You blew it! Hey you, lobster boy. Who, me? You think I'm glad Trucy's in trouble? I think she's getting her just desserts. Well, guess what? You're right! Does this mean you admit to wishing to do Fenton harm? Well, the bat is out of the bag now. That mistake of mine was a work of art. Thanks to my goof, poor little Trucy had to do all of that hard physical labor. When you say hard physical labor...
I hope you have 3D turned on for these fancy effects as she points at you with a cane.
No, the 3D really doesn't work for me. Like, it really doesn't. Even on max settings, it doesn't really do it for me. I don't know. When you say hard physical labor, what are you referring to? Because in Mr. Hat's new position, Trucy had to move both of those huge stage lifts. They must have been so heavy.
Gotta get 3D glasses.
What a riot. That's strange. Athena, could you please add to the that last thing to the testimony? Alright. Hey, Apollo. Now there's a new inconsistency. Yeah, she finally slipped up. So what do I need to do now? Well, from this point onward, you just do what you do best. Find the contradiction! Alright, got you now, motherfucker. But that's fine though, that's not inconsistent. What? What am I supposed to do? So confused. Definitely contradiction in her testimonies, which is present evidence. Like
Bonnie says 2 lifts.
but she did move 2 lifts. No, she doesn't say 2 lifts. She said thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lift.
True C said 1 lift, I am pretty sure.
No, she had to move both. Bonnie messed up Mr. Hat's position, placing him on the right side. As a result, Trucy had to quickly move the lifts under the stage. Both of them. She had to move number 2 out of the way and then number 1 into position.
Oh,
remember?
okay.
So I don't understand. What? What contradiction are you talking about, game? What the fuck?
Well, it still feels like the only one that makes sense here.
So, like, no, her testimony doesn't make sense with the this part of the testimony doesn't make sense with an earlier part of her testimony, but I can't present the testimony itself, so I don't know what the fuck to do. I guess I'll just try this one? I don't know. Or this one?
I don't know. Go for it.
Objection!
Nope, that was wrong. Cool. Ah, fuck you, game. Wow, we're like...
The other one, I meant. You just moved it away when I finished typing. Sheesh.
I know which one you meant, but both of them made sense to me. Like, as little sense as they do, but whatever. Fucking... God damn it, I hate this. I really fucking hate this. Fucking let me pick it again! Ah! Fine, we'll try this one this time.
Objection!
That was the one it wanted.
Perhaps
Good.
it refers to Trucy saying she told no one about moving the lifts.
Yeah, but she didn't need to be told. Bonnie would have known that she would have to do that. Whatever, let's see what the game thinks. That doesn't make sense. What? So you think I'm crazy now? No. That's not the point I was trying to make. And here you're denying it. Mr. Fum, allow me to repeat your statement. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts. That's right, and I still say that's just what she deserved. But how did you know? How did you know Miss Wright moved the stage lifts? Huh? According to her own statement, she didn't tell anyone that she had done so. Yeah, but you can infer that she had to do it easily enough, because you know you fucked up, and you know she still did the act, so you know the only way to do this is to move the stage lifts. It's not like she needed to be told. Ah, whatever, fuck it. What? How could you possibly have known what she had done unless you saw her? You saw Miss Wright moving the lifts in the understage passage, didn't you? This makes no sense. Ah, video games. You did it! Yay! Now, Mr. Justice, wouldn't that mean? Yes, Mr. Fum herself was under the stage where the victim was killed. And I hardly need to tell the court what that means. Yeah. You're one artful liar, Mr. Fum, and one spectacular suspect. Whatever. 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 Why, you shiny red lobster boy, you're saying I killed Mr. Roos? Saying that is a possibility. What's more, I say you had a solid motive to frame my client for the murder as well. Murder. My apologies for raining on the defense's merry revelry, but you seem to have forgotten one very important point. Really? The TV footage. As you can clearly see, Mr. Fum was on stage the whole time. The entire audience can bear witness to that fact, including you. Oh yeah. See, it's a problem when you think faster than the game does. You have just taken a long and senseless journey only to return to the starting line. The witness could not have been in the understage passage, which means the only one left who could have killed the victim is the accused. Yes, the party is over. But Mr. Fum knew something she couldn't have known unless she was under the stage. How do you explain that? It's quite simple. The accused must have told Mr. Fum about it, but then forgot. Ha! Open those useless eyes of yours and take a good look at the footage. If Mr. Fum really was in the understage passage, it would mean she was on stage and understage at the same time. You mean she was in two places at once? It does seem to be the only explanation that makes any sense. Maybe an explanation, but I'm not so sure about the makes sense part. We'll just have to make it make sense. Bluff it. Your Honor, the witness was both on stage and understage at the same time. That is the defense's assertion. I've heard some illogical things come out of you before, but this is absurd. I'm sure you'll change your tune once you hear my reasoning, Your Honor. My gut tells me you're bluffing, but I'll bite. The judge hasn't seen enough of this fucking bullshit to know when we're bluffing. Good. Very well, Mr. Justice. How do you explain how the witness was in two places at once? She teleported, because that's her magic trick power, I guess? Or something?
That's bullshit, but I believe it.
Yeah. Where is that from again?
Jojo.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Right. God bless. Let's not forget that Mr. Fum's speciality is the teleportation magic. With teleportation, she can be in two places at practically the same time. So you believe that teleportation actually exists? Well, you know what magicians always say about their magic. It's all real, no tricks or gimmicks involved. Well, I have listened patiently to your reasoning, and the only thing dispelled is the false air of competency you tried to project. I see what you did there. Go on, Your Honor. Oh, you might be surprised to hear this, but I used to be known as the jokester judge. Well, at least I avoided a penalty with some well-placed brown nosing. Please let me try again, Your Honor. There were 2 bunnies, Your Honor. If that were the case, it would all make sense, wouldn't it? There were 2 of them? I suspected you had a few screws loose, but now I see some are missing altogether. Is there a toolkit in this courtroom, Your Honor? I suppose 3 screws to the head should tighten this putrid brain. Very well, bailiff, could you... No, wait, please listen to my argument. Very well. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to at least give it a listen. As was argued earlier, Mr. Fum is shown in the footage the whole time, but at the same time, she was also watching Miss Wright in the understage passage. The only possible explanation is that there are 2 bunnies. That almost sounds like it makes sense. What do you think? As humble servant of the Holy Mother is of the opinion that we should lose no time in replacing the defense's many lost screws. But, Apollo, it goes against reality itself to say that 1 person is actually 2. We don't have to be bound by reality. After all, we're talking about magic here. So if Bunny the Fum is in the footage is the real Bunny, then the Bunny here on the witness stand, the one who must have been on the stage, this Bunny the Fum is our second Bunny. She is? Say we call the one in front of us Bunny number 2. I believe I have just a piece of evidence to prove that a Mrs. Bunny number 2 exists. We do have that piece of evidence? What?
You do.
Wait, is she wearing gloves and like she still left prints and or something? I don't know. Is it in the footage?
Bonnie is not wearing gloves, only the wrist parts.
Even here in court? I don't think there's anything in the footage, right?
And you have proof that there was someone unknown on board the magic stage at the time.
I guess it is the fingerprints then.
Take that!
What's this? During our investigation, we found a set of unknown prints on the coffin on the stage. These prints were most likely left during the course of the show. But they didn't match the prints of any of the people involved in this case. An unknown third party's fingerprints? I was not told of this. Emma must have kept it from him. So the question is, who could these prints possibly belong to? Mr. Fum, or should I say Bunny number 2, these are your fingerprints, aren't they?
Talk to them!
Enough of this foolishness. One person couldn't have possibly be two. Those fingerprints could have been left not only during the show, but at any time.
Objection!
It's not like you to lose your cool like that. Fucker. And I'm sure you know that. Exactly when the fingerprints were made is not the main issue. What do you mean by that, Mr. Justice? Issue is who, though, these unknown prints belong to. They're certainly not Bonnie the Thumbs. But what if they belong to the person standing right in front of us? Oh, you mean Bonnie number 2 is the second Bonnie? Is that what you're implying? Yeah. It's preposterous to suggest that those prints belong to the witness. Say they must belong to some other unknown individual. Can you really look at her and still say that? What are you looking at? Take a picture. It'll last longer. How could this be? If we check her prints, I'm sure they'll match the unknown set. Well, Bonnie, the prints that don't belong to the real you belong to you, don't they? Just get Emma out here. She'll print immediately. You'll have, like, print results in 0.2 seconds. Fine, I admit it. The fingerprints are mine. Then does that mean you aren't Bonnie the Thumb? What? Ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Nope, there's only one Bonnie. That's because I'm Betty. Betty the Thumb. What? Ladies and gentlemen of the court, it's time for a wondrous magic show. Gasp in amazement as this logomorphing illusionist performs our teleportation magic. Watch closely, it's showtime. Oh, okay. Did you see Athena there? What an amazing trick! The witness has suddenly split into two people.
Where does the cane keep the fabric for the parasol?
Magic.
My own clone.
No, stop. It's not a trick, no gimmick to it either. Simply twins. What? Twins! So that's how the teleportation trick works. Ever since our debut, I've had to hide or pretend I'm Bonnie. All cute and sweet and goody-goody. I can't tell you how stressful it's been. But I don't have to hide anymore.
Liquid Bonnie.
That's right, our days of sneaking around are finally over. The cover is blown, but they actually seem pretty happy about it. Ah, Liquid Bonnie. So which one of you is the nice Bonnie, the fun we met in the dressing room? That would be me. The sharp-tongued Bonnie we saw in the ratings with the ratings riot on the stage was... Hey, what are you calling sharp-tongued? It's all starting to make sense now. So, Mr. Justice, this changes the facts of the case rather dramatically, doesn't it? Certainly does. During the show, it was Bonnie who was on stage the whole time, so Bonnie couldn't have committed the crime. But Betty, on the other hand, who was on the stage, did have the opportunity. Right. Well, so we now have two suspects. Wait just a minute there, lobster boy, I didn't do it. That's right, Betty might have a foul mouth, but she never kill anybody. Hey, who's got a foul mouth here? Oh, well, speak up. Huh? But please save your sibling squabbling for later. Betty, you must have been in the understage passage during the show. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known about the stage lifts being moved. Bam. So what exactly were you doing down there? Fine, I'll testify. Anything to get you off my back. Prosecutor Shatmati, Betty the Fum is ready to testify. What do you say? Betty, you lied to this humble servant of the Holy Mother. Hey, what else could I do? Couldn't blow our cover and ruin our magic act. Besides, am I gonna go to your Twilight Hell or whatever for being a liar? You will indeed. However, it won't be after your death. Rather, I shall give you a taste of your punishment on this mortal coil in interrogation hell. Now then, Betty the Fum, please explain to this court what exactly you were doing under the stage. What happened on the stage? It's true, I had business in the understage passage because of the upcoming trick. It was the fire trick, right? The one Mr. Roos was supposed to do? That's right. That's a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it. That's a lie. It was in the script, and I really wanted to see it, but I couldn't because of the accident. Shut up, you're gonna give it away. Anyway, I was real busy. Yeah, way too busy to have the chance to kill Mr. Roos. Well, that was certainly different. How is that for a flawless testimony and alibi? Our magic is real, it's not a trick or a gimmick. Oh my, she's floating. Your Honor. You can see she's being held up from below. You were supposed to pretend you didn't see that. It's a little something called etiquette. But I can't help it. Whenever I see a contradiction or inconsistency, I just have to point it out. And then the game reprimands me for being too quick on the draw. Video games are hard. Also, my nose is being clogged, and I hate it. Hate it! Okay.
You should disconnect your nasal channels from the rest of your body to prevent it getting clogged.
I would if I could.
You should cut off your nose.
I mean, we know that the trick wasn't going to happen. But I don't know where to present this. I guess here. Yeah.
Objection!
Oh, fuck you, game. It does contradict the game. Fuck you.
GG.
Fine, I'm gonna press everything again. Oh my god, I hate this so much.
Probably should have pressed it first.
See, the fire trick was part of the script. Seems Mr. Roos sketches to perform it later in the show. Did you not get to see him practice it beforehand? No, during rehearsal he said it
Shall I
didn't feel like
prepare
it.
the answer?
Yes, please. I couldn't breathe any fire from me. Wait, let me get this straight. He couldn't breathe fire because he wasn't feeling well? My magical powers appear to be on the wane today. That's what he said. So it was just a part of, as usual, the great Mr. Roos shtick. It's really too bad he didn't get to see the trick because of the incident, which was completely unexpected, of course. Hey.
Hold it.
So what exactly do you mean by you're gonna give it away? See, Bonnie, you and your big mouth. Now, Lobster Boy wants to know what we're talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, if you were preparing for the next magic trick, I'm sure you wouldn't have had the time to commit murder. Wow, looks like the old geezer isn't senile just yet, huh? I bet you'll live a good long life. Oh. Plan to be sitting up here at least another 10 years. 10 more years? I don't know about that. Did we discuss about inner monologues, Athena? Well, more power to you, I guess. In any case, I was so busy I didn't have the time to off anybody. So, what should I do? Because I know what the answer is, but I don't know how to present it to the game so that it'll like me.
The game wants you to present the bucket on the third statement.
Oh, the bucket on the third. Okay.
Objection!
Good. Hate to break this to you, Betty. There's a big flaw in your testimony. As big as the one in that floating trick you did earlier. Ooh, harsh words. Well, let me tell you something, forehead boy. No one has ever figured out how we do our teleportation trick. No one except me, you mean? Well, you have even better tricks up our sleeves. Huh? We do? Told you to keep it zipped. Now, don't fight, you two. Mr. Justice, what's this about a flaw in the testimony? The script has this to say about the fire trick. This will be dangerous. Make sure the fire bucket is ready. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage except for a layer of dust. Ouch. You didn't even attempt to get ready for the next trick, did you, Betty? You got me! Betty the Fum, you will explain yourself. There's nothing to explain. Come on, Betty, we can't hide it any longer. You might as well tell them. Shut up. You can barely take care of yourself. Don't try and tell me what to do. Well, if neither of you will explain, I guess I'll have to. The reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire trick is because she knew the show wouldn't go on. You didn't prepare for the fire trick because you knew, didn't you? You knew the body would be found and that the show would then be cancelled. Don't be ridiculous, you insignificant speck of a man. You knew? I'm gonna yank those lame bangs off of yours off. Is that what you want, huh?
Objection!
Whatever, they can grow back. Now stop stalling it, just tell us the truth already. Can't reveal my secrets, I'm a magician. I've been chasing the shadow of an illusory culprit defense. And having chanced upon a convenient target, you have let yourself get carried away. Exactly, where's your proof, huh? And yet, I concede that the witness's taste for false words has also been proven. I advise you to confine your deceitful trickery to your magic act, witness. Deceitful trickery? As your court-appointed therapist, I'd like to add something here, Betty. You finally let yourself be who you really are. But if you continue to hide behind lies, you'll just be imprisoning your heart all over again. Huh. Would all these questions mean you're trying to put me in prison for real? I'll be behind bars either way. Does that mean you're admitting your guilt? Of course not. Can't believe you people. Every one of you thinks I did something I didn't do, you lobster boy, cue ball geezer, head case brat, Cerberus monk. At least she didn't insult the audience. Cue ball geezer? Head case brat, really? Betty, calm down. Come on now. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Look, I'm not the murderer, I tell you. And how did you know the show would be called off before the fire trick? I told you, we can't reveal our secrets. We're under contract. Contract? What is she talking about? Be that as it may, you're obviously a suspect in this case.
Objection.
More of this Naruto bullshit. I'm beginning to see the karmic threads that make up the intricate tapestry that is this case. Huh? Allow me to summarize your assertions, defense. First, that the victim was killed in the understage passage. And second, that the witness and the accused are the only two who could have done it. Exactly. What's more, Betty knew that the body would be found, and that the magic show would then be called off. Therefore, it's reasonable to conclude that Betty killed the victim on her stage. But what if Betty knew that the show would be called off for some other reason? Like what? In the course of my investigation, I found it strange that the dragon set piece fell when it did. That in conjunction with the body tumbling from the coffin in such a dramatic fashion. All seemed too perfect for mere happenstance. It was as though the entire chain of events had been planned out in advance. Planned out? After deciding to take this case, I scrupulously studied everything I could about the mass media in this country. I read the newspaper, old news reports, I even browsed tabloid magazines. How very industrious of you. I'm impressed. During this process, I learned about a strange practice favored by the TV world. A practice called the hidden camera prank. Or something. Betty and Bonnie, you knew about this, did you not? About the dead body appearing, the set piece falling, the show being suspended. You two were informed of this plan. By Take-Two in advance, correct? Is that true? Betty, please, tell them now. I can't hold it in anymore. Dang it, fine, you got us. Everything the prosecutor said is true. The TV station paid us to cooperate with them on this plan. It was all a prank, big setup planned out in advance. Mr. Roos showing up dead in the coffin. The set piece falling down, it was all completely scripted. It was all a prank? Oh my god. It's just a prank, bro. Bonnie, is this really true? Yes, Mr. Roos was supposed to pretend to be dead. That's how it was supposed to go. So he was in on it too? That's right, he was supposed to show up dead in the coffin. And then set piece would fall down. Trucy would be shocked and start to panic. That's how the prank script went. What? What the fuck kind of prank is that? But we never thought he'd actually wind up dead. Yeah, that was the only thing that was different from the script. Poor Mr. Roos. I'm so completely lost right now. Well, Betty and Bonnie, it certainly sounds like you have some explaining to do. Alright, alright. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. Just this once we'll share how it was done with you. So listen carefully. You'll never hear this kind of thing anywhere else. After our teleportation trick, I went down on the stage. When Mr. Roos's body appeared from the coffin on stage, it was time for Betty to do her job in the understage passage. That's right, I used the remote control for the winch connected to the dragon set piece. And made it fall down. And just before the dragon fell, I called Trucy to the backstage so she wouldn't get hurt. After that, the plan was for Mr. Roos to come back to life in front of a panicked Trucy. He was supposed to laugh and flap away. That's how it was scripted, anyway. But for some reason, he really did turn up dead, so he kinda just stayed on the ground. What kind of sick joke is that? Sounds like a terribly mean-spirited prank to me. The poor defendant was trying to do her magic show. I guess so. I'm sorry, Trucy. Huh, whatever. It was all the ratings Raya's idea anyway. Yeah, it sounds like just the kind of thing a guy like him would come up with. This is the prank plan script we got from the ratings, Raya. Oh boy, even more evidence. Dang it, you made us break our contract. Now we don't get paid. Where does this all leave us? Who killed the victim? And when? Yes, exactly. Those are the key questions. If Mr. Roos was only pretending to be dead in the coffin as part of the prank, then when he was on the stage, there would still be life within him. And if that is the case, then Betty, who was also on the stage, may be excluded from a list of suspects. But then when did... well... Witness, was the victim alive up until he entered the coffin? Oh, well, now that we've spilled the beans, we might as well show you this video. What, you have video footage of this shit? Greetings, viewers, it is I, the great Mr. Roos. We are currently in the middle of Truce's escape check. Having snuck through the interstage passage undetected, I'm now hiding backstage. Trying to play a little prank on Trucy. About to hide in the coffin, which Trucy will stab with a rubber sword. The coffin opens, ho-ho, I'll be in it. Acting I still have met my maker. Can you imagine the look on Trucy's face then? Ho-ho, I can hardly wait. What did he's about to hide in the coffin? It would seem the threads of karmic destiny have led us to the truth. The victim passed through the understage where Betty the Fum was and came up into the backstage area. We know this because Mr. Roos appeared to be backstage when he shot the video we saw. It appears that way, yes. And the defense, you proposed the following, did you not? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put into the coffin? But then, what about this video? This footage was taken just before Mr. Roos entered the coffin. So does that mean... It is horrible, but true. The tragedy did indeed play out right here on the stage. Went into the coffin where Mr. Roos was hiding. Trucy Wright thrust her blade. See, told you so. So are you saying the incident was a tragic accident that happened during a prank? It would be an accident if the accused had no knowledge of the prank beforehand. So let us ask the accused herself. Miss Wright, did you have prior knowledge of the prank? What? I... Tell them, Trucy. You didn't know anything about it, right? Of course I didn't. I didn't know a single thing about it. Still think you can play innocent, do you? In that case, you leave me little choice but to present this piece of evidence. Looks like some sort of note. That's... I found this note in the dressing room after the incident. At the time, I did not understand what it meant, but all is clear to me now. What? What's this? Let's see, it says, get the video camera after Mr. Roos comes tumbling out. It is a note signed by the accused, instructing Bonnie to collect Mr. Roos's video camera from him, it seems. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Found it in the dressing room before the show. When I saw it, I realized that Trucy knew about the prank. It does bear her signature, I'll give you that much. Yeah, but we know they already fake signatures, so...
Was this falsified
Yeah, of course
as well?
it was. The defendant had prior knowledge of the prank. It would appear so, yes. When she learned about the plan to trick her, she decided to use it to her own advantage. So she thrust the steel sword into the coffin where the victim stood chuckling to himself. Is that not what happened, Mrs. Wright? Of course not, and I didn't write or sign that note. Ah, but the handwriting matches yours. All of the evidence and testimony points to you being the culprit. But I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And explain the existence of this note. You can do that, can you not? I can't explain it. I didn't write it, so I don't understand. I didn't kill Mr. Roos. You have to believe me. Believe it. Dots. Yeah, it's good that everyone has dots. Can we get on with it? Oh my god, game. The silence is deafening. Continue struggling against the threads of your own karma if you wish, accused. Even as you're inescapably caught in the web of fate you've spun for yourself. Miss Wright, it is time to resign yourself to your fate. No, I didn't do it. Ha! Knew it! That sweet-looking girl. A murderer! Took all of us in with that act of hers. Told you. Why are they so up in arms about this? It's uncharacteristic. Your Honor, I suggest we put an end to this tragedy now. Give your official ruling and let us offer the victim's soul the lost rights it deserves. Very well, I suppose I have no other choice but to do whatever the prosecution wants.
The popular TV show has been making her look like the murderer for a while now.
I guess so, yeah. Defense has an objection. Apollo? You, even now, you would. Especially now, you fucking idiot. Mr. Wright, who's counting on me? Trucy has put all their faith in me. Mr. Justice, the fact that you have raised an objection means that you have evidence with which to refute the prosecution's claims, correct? Yes, of course. Do we really have anything? Yes, we do. Actually, we do! There's one piece of evidence we can present here. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may proceed. As we saw in the show footage, there is no question that the defendant thrust the sword into the coffin. The defense doesn't dispute this point. But let us not forget that this was a magic show filled with tricks and illusions. We can't take everything we see at face value. So you're saying some sleight of hand was somehow involved? Yes, the defense contends that the sword the defendant used was not the cause of death. Now, what was it that Trucy told me she did just before she thrust the sword into the coffin? Very well, let us see your evidence then, Mr. Justice. But remember, you interrupted my verdict to make this claim. You will be severely penalized if you I find you're bluffing. Doesn't matter anyway. This one, right? Gingy, please confirm.
Yes, sword stand.
Yep. What's this? A sword from the show? That's right, Your Honor. This rubber sword was in the sword stand on her stage. During the trick, Miss Wright was supposed to swap the real sword for a rubber sword. She told us on record that she remembers very clearly that she did. I see. So the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin was a rubber sword, was it? But then why was a steel sword found lying on the stage? Somebody must have put the steel sword there by swapping it with the rubber one. Just after the incident occurred, the dragon set piece fell and the theater was evacuated. The real culprit must have used the resulting chaos to swap the rubber sword for the steel one.
Objection.
Do you not know when to give up, Stinkbug? That is not possible. Blood was found in the coffin that the sword had thrust into. It must have been left there when the accused withdrew his sword. This is incontrovertible proof that the sword she used was the steel one.
Objection.
But that blood could be the result of someone tampering with the crime scene after the fact. After the set piece fell and the audience was cleared out of the theater, there was plenty of time for somebody to plant that blood there.
Objection.
If the sword the accused used was a rubber one, then when exactly do you propose the victim was killed, given that Mr. Roos was alive when he entered that coffin? Finding the answer to that question is precisely why we need to continue this trial. Let me express my opinion. By all accounts, it is certainly reasonable to suspect the defendant based on the evidence. But as to the question of whether the sword the defendant used was rubber or steel, I believe further discussion is warranted. I suggest we hear from the defendant herself on this issue. Very well, Your Honor. Saved it somehow, too close for comfort, but still. Let's adjourn for a brief 15-minute reset. Advise the prosecution and defense to use this time to prepare. Wow, that's convenient for us on the stream right now. Unless you guys want to keep on going for 2 hours more. Which you would have to say now.
No thanks.
Let's go. Let's prove Trucy's innocence.
Alright, I mean, if Gingy says we should keep going, then let's keep going. Whew, that was hairy. Tell me about it. Barely made it through by the skin of my teeth. Can't say I'm crazy about that prosecutor. Should Marty either. You know, with the way he says, let it go and move on, as if it's nothing. Let it go, move on, huh? Whoa, boy, am I interrupting a secret conclave of villains or something?
Don't fall asleep on a shin.
I don't think I'm in danger of doing that. What's your next evil scheme in the works already? What do you want? Keep making that face, champ, and everyone's gonna change your channel. Look this way, Trucy. Now smile for the camera. See these pearly whites? Isn't that what the Grammar Creed tells you to do? How does it feel, Trucy? Everybody online can't stop talking about you. They're calling you a real witch out there. Could this be the end of Troop Grammar? Go away, you creep. What's this? Something just charged into frame. Looks like a yellow gorilla or something. Could it be Trucy's pet? Filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. You want me to get the bailiff? Huh? Filming? What are you talking about? I don't even have a camera on me. Huh? What happened to the camera? It's disappeared right before our very eyes. I'll be enjoying the rest of the Trucy show from the gallery. But I called for Trucy's fans to come and support her earlier, by the way. Bet I'll get some great footage out of them. This is gonna be good. Hang loose, baby! Yeah, I can't wait to get you on the witness stand. called in some of Trucy's fans, but for what purpose? Apollo, that thing Mr. Reddins just did, that was some high-level sleight of hand. Huh? Why would he know how to do something like that? I don't know, but he definitely has some serious magic skills. No way! But I thought he sent magicians were all a bunch of good-for-nothings. Mr. Lawyer? Oh, hello, Bonnie. Can I help you with something? Well, there's something that's been bothering me. Really? What is it? Well, you see... Hey, dummy, what are you whispering to the lobster boy about? Betty, who the heck do you think you are? You crazy? You want a piece of this? You know you have to talk to me first before you do anything, you hairbrain. But I... Shut your mouth, you fuck. Come with me now. I wonder what was bothering her. There's no way we're finding out with that Betty constantly hovering over her like that. Court's about to reconvene. Will you be alright testifying? Yeah, it's just... I wonder what Mr. Reddins has up his sleeve. I doubt he's bringing in an actual fans. Yeah, probably not. I wonder what he has up his sleeve, too. He better not be trying to get under Trucy's skin right now, of all times. Oh, he sure is. Trucy White, and you'll be fine! Oh, there goes Apollo with his best trick. That's right. Whenever I'm feeling down, I always tell myself I'm fine. And I do the opposite. And then I feel miserable. It's great. Alright, I'll give it a try. Trucy right, and I'm fine! Thanks, Polly. I think I can do with this now. That a girl. Good luck up there on the stand. You'll do great. Thanks. I'll be fine. Can do this. Time to focus on the trial. I'm gonna chomp some more chocolate. Court is now back in session. Defendant, please step up to the witness stand. Trucy Wright, magician. Order! The gallery will be quiet, or we'll have you all thrown out on the spot. What's with all the hecklers? I bet they're the fans Mr. Reddins invited. What a grade A jerk. Well, he's not going to psych us out. Now then, Miss Wright, this court would like to know if you switched from the steel sword to a rubber one on stage. You'll please testify about this issue. Silence, all of you. I won't tell you again. That's right. Do you feel able to testify? Yes, I'm fine, Your Honor. Oh boy. I'd like to make a small request. How about, instead of testifying with words, I'll show you exactly what happened. Would that be alright, Your Honor? You can witness my stupendous sword-switching magic and judge for yourselves. In spite of everything, she's still smiling. Trucy's amazing, isn't she? She sure is. A true entertainer always keeps a smile on their face. Yeah. It's showtime for magical girl Trucy Wright. Watch carefully now, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention on the sword. Allow me to demonstrate just how sharp this blade truly is. See that? No tricks or gimmicks. A very sharp sword indeed. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, watch as I take the sword and... Pesto Sordo. There, I switched it. And now... Hup. As you can see, the blade is not steel, but rubber. Bravo, Miss Right. Wow, she switched him in a flash. Couldn't see her do it at all. She's completely turned the room around. The hecklers are being drowned out by all the cheering. Where did the steel sword vanish off to, Miss Wright? Oh, to deepen our understanding of the case, please tell us if you would. I'm not asking out of mere curiosity, just so you know. I usually hide the steel sword backstage when I switch them during the show. So when you thrust the rubber sword into the coffin, the steel sword wasn't even on stage but behind the curtain? Exactly. So you see, there is a trick and a gimmick to it after all. And as for where the steel sword went when I performed the trick just now, it's a secret. Wouldn't want to spoil the magic for you now, would I? Ho ho ho. That's so true, see. Yeah, still. That's right. That part where you spun around, that's an actual part of the sword switching trick you do for the show, right? Right. The other parts, like the apple, were just to help with my explanation here in court. That's funny. I think I found an inconsistency in her testimony. Oh boy. Looks like I'm not the only one. I don't know what it's doing there. But now that I've found it, I have to get to the bottom of it. Also, another thing that I thought about earlier, when I was talking about how most of the prosecutors are assholes. One thing that I always would have liked to make the prosecutors feel more like actual characters and less like, I don't know, just... I think the game would profit if you made the prosecutors a bit more easy to identify with. And as they usually are, they never make any mistakes. You know, in court, you're always the underdog, and like you present some kind of thing, and then the prosecutor comes and like shows you how much of a fucking idiot you are by refuting your statement.
Not very relatable.
But the prosecutors never assert anything wrong or make any kind of mistake in the assessment. I think there's I think there's one occurrence with Edgeworth where he like says something and then Wright is able to immediately refute it and make him look stupid. But like that doesn't happen, like, and I don't know why. Why do they have to be like so distant and unreliable? I think it would make for a much more interesting case. Like this is again why Clavier was to me one of my absolute favorites, because he, like with him, you really had the feeling like he was trying to get to the bottom of it, and he wasn't just trying to win the case or just trying to fuck you over. Like, you really had the feeling that he was trying to find the truth along with you rather than just being an antagonist, right? So, anyway, I don't know why they don't just do that more often. I mean, like, the prosecutors are usually fleshed out with other backstory and stuff that makes them sort of more rounded out, but I don't know, just this thing of the prosecutor just being like this super fucker that and the defense being this complete idiot, it's just, it gets old. It's really old by now. Anyhow, now that Mr. Justice Maker had a question, I'll try not to ask stuff. I thought this was supposed to be my cross-examination. And we have to present this video footage when she does a swirl. Right? I wish I could seek in this. I could go fast forward, but I don't think you can. Okay, since you're confirming it, I'll just do it.
Objection!
That's right. There's something I'd like to confirm with you. What is it, Apollo? There seems to be a discrepancy between the way you performed the trick for us just now and the way it appears in the show footage. What? But that can't be. I performed exactly the same way both times. And what's going on here? It's right. I have the show footage right here. And the part where you twirl your cape around is missing from it. What? But I did it! So, it really is the exact moment you switch the swords? Yes, that's right. I knew it. Well, I certainly never expected the defense to expose the accused's lie for me. Mr. Justice, does this mean that you're arguing that the defendant did not swap the swords during the actual magic show? No, Your Honor, that wasn't my intention. I mean, I did swap them, I know I did. I'm absolutely sure of it. Human memory is unreliable at best, but in this case, I'm afraid that it is the witness herself who cannot be trusted. We can see the footage for ourselves. The claims of this witness are false. Now that it has been proven that the accused did not swap swords, it means that the use of the steel sword to pierce the coffin was wholly intentional. Ugh. By the way, was it not you, Mr. Justice, who argued that Mr. Roos's death was not an accident, but murder? I assume you have no objections to that still. It was, after all, your own assertion. The defense has an objection. To you, Mr. Pollard Justice. Come on, you withdraw the discrepancy you pointed out now. But there is a discrepancy, and it must mean something, I'm sure of it. Would the defense team kindly save their spat until the court is adjourned? Now, after all of this debate, it seems we've come back around to the original argument. The defendant knew about the prank plan that would place the victim inside the coffin. What's more, the defendant did not perform the sword-switching trick on stage. Through her actions, I'm afraid I have to come to see the true intentions of the accused. Her murderous intentions. It's such a shame. But I did switch the swords, I swear. You're knee-deep in it now, Justice. Knee-deep in the dead. Playing Doom. Excuse me. Let's see. You are... which one again? Benny? No, that's not right. Bonnie? It's Bonnie. You're mixing the two names together, Your Honor. Oh, pardon me. And do you have something you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to testify. About what? The more I think about it, the less possible it seems. I don't believe Trucy killed Mr. Roos. Bonnie? Hey, what's the big idea? Such an incredibly gifted and talented magician would never commit murder. I refuse to believe it. What are you talking about, you harebrained hire? Keep your trap shut. I got a bag of baby carrots for you, so chew on those and pipe down. No, I won't be quiet. What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear me? Trucy said something to me once. Huh? She said, no matter how scared you get, no matter how mean people are to you, you can't give in or give up. That's what being a professional magician is all about. Isn't that right, Trucy? That's right, Bonnie. I've always been afraid to stand up to Betty. Afraid to defy her, so I did what she said. But when I saw Trucy today, she gave me strength. Why we gotta have flashbacks to things that happened 5 minutes ago? God damn it, game.
Anime.
I like to call it padding the game time. And I'm pretty sure they also have excluded the ability to skip text in order to pad the game time. Like, I'm not even talking about skipping it, like, but making it advance all at once. Like, I can't press any buttons to make the text appear all at once. I read way faster than the text scrolls, so... Seeing her courage, the way she kept smiling despite everything, she's just incredible, so I'm not going to run away. I'm scared, but for once, I need to be brave. What have you done to my sister, Trucy, right? You practically brainwashed her. It's the power of Trucy's conviction. That's what it is. It's touch Bunny's heart. Trucy really is a magical girl. Bunny, is the topic of your testimony related to that thing that was bothering you? The thing you tried to tell us about in the lobby during the recess? Yes, ever since I saw the show footage, something's been nagging at me. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something is off. I feel like something about it is different from what I saw on the stage. What do you mean by that, Bonnie? I wonder if what was shown on TV is really the same as what happened on stage. Of course it is. The show has only been performed once, after all. Can't show anything other than what happened on that stage yesterday. Nope, can be edited. But Bonnie's testimony deserves our attention. We have to examine the show footage. What can we check it against? Do you have some other footage of the show? Well, I have some show footage. You do? One of the TV station's cameramen said he was a fan of mine. He kept his camera on me throughout the entire show, and then afterwards, he gave me the footage he shot as a present. He did? To tell you the truth, I thought it was kind of creepy, so I was going to get rid of it.
Hold it!
Please submit that footage to the court. That's pretty creepy, yeah. Now then, let's take a look at this new footage. Oh, fuck. Oh, boy. Yeah, we can't see her, but the footage is going to be longer than the other one. So we can still use that. What was that? Wow, okay then. He really did keep his camera on Bonnie the whole time, didn't he? I think this cameraman needs to keep his personal feelings out of his work. Well, Evans, do you still believe this new show footage is worth inspecting? Of course I do. Okay, so how are we going to go about this? Let's try comparing the two. We just might find an inconsistency between them. Inconsistency, huh? The two pieces of footage are of the same scene, so they should match up. Bonnie felt there was something off about the original footage. We can pick out what's different, we'll know what Bonnie found strange, exactly, plus when we figure out what the original doesn't show, that the sword switching trick. Friends would like to compare the two pieces. Query well, I'll allow it. What a waste of time. You know how to compare the two pieces of footage? Oh, never done it before. I'll give you a little lesson then. Use the buttons to do the button, and then the button, and the button. Oh my god, thank you for explaining basic buttons to me. Why can't I just show both of them side by side? Oh my god, the game is even making fun of its own tutorials, holy shit. Some good stuff. We don't really care about this part. kind of this. But I don't know if the game is gonna want me to do this.
Take that!
This is it right here. Take a good look at this scene and compare it to the video shot from the front. Oh, the playing cards don't appear in the video shot from the front. Hey, you're right. What's going on here?
Well, stream died proper now.
Oh shit.
There we go. It's back.
Wow, YouTube is having some problems, huh? Miss Wright, what can you tell us about these playing cards? Oh, those? They're the cards I throw when I do the sword switching trick. What? Mr. Justice, does this mean...
I'm switching to Twitch.
Okay, hope that works better for you. Means that the sword switching trick was cut from the TV show footage. So the footage was edited. Yes, with malicious intent. That is absurd. Well, we must get to the bottom of this right away. Bailiff, the TV station might still have the unedited footage. Go see what you can find out. It's you! Now hold up, Your Honor. This is all just a big misunderstanding. Believe you me. Give a guy a chance to defend himself before you start pointing fingers. Who might you be? Right. Sorry about that. Got ahead of myself here. Here's my business card. Charmed to make your acquaintance, Your Honor. Oh, well, how very polite of you. It's lovely to meet you two prosecutors. Marty, please take my card. A business card? Ah, yes. I read about this custom among businessmen in this country. I've even familiarized myself with the various replies. How do you do, good sir? Or, what's crack-a-lackin', homie? I'm fucking done with this game. Fuck off. Stream is over. No, actually, it's not. Oh ho, you're from Take-Two TV, aren't you, Witness? Come to think of it, I believe I've seen you on television before.
Oh.
You're Roger Reddens, otherwise known as the Ratings Raya. He's a TV producer and appears on many of his shows as of late. He's best known for his catchphrase, hang loose, baby. Oh my, so you're the Ratings Raya. Hang loose, judgy baby. Nice courtroom you got here. Never thought I'd get to meet you in person. Prosecutor Shidmati, how do you know so much about him? In preparation for the case, I watched all of his shows. Holy shit, this dude is a nerd. He's a fucking goon. I found the Ratings Raya goes to Burger Barn of particular interest. It inspired me to visit the restaurant straight away to learn more about the local cuisine. What? You went to Burger Barn? Who would have thought? You must have really wanted to try it, huh, buddy? Because that line, whew. Compared to my ascetic training, an hour's wait is nothing. I recommend the Southwestern burger with jalapeno jack cheese, by the way. I'm having a really hard time picturing him in line for burgers. Prosecutor Sarmadi's unexpected enthusiasm for food aside, Mr. Reddins, what is this misunderstanding you mentioned? Well, for starters, it's true that the footage was edited. You'll get your hands on this anyway, so I might as well show you the unedited footage. It's a pretty long video, so I'll just show you the part with the playing cards. You can see the cards when Trucy spins around, so keep your eyes peeled. Yep. Did you see the part that was cut where Trucy switched the sword? The spin around and the playing cards go flying, everything's like it's supposed to be. And it seems the defendant really did swap swords during the trick. Which means the sword Miss Wright thrust into the coffin was the rubber one. In other words, Miss Wright couldn't have killed Mr. Roos. Yeah, see, that's the first misunderstanding right there. What do you mean? Well, Trucy definitely did swap swords, as you saw. So yeah, maybe she didn't kill Mr. Roos when she stabbed the coffin. That just means he was killed after he showed up pretending to be a corpse. So you're saying that up until that point, everything was going according to the script. If that's true, then when and how exactly do you think he was killed? It was after the dragon set piece came crashing down. I say Trucy murdered Mr. Roos when she was hidden from view behind the set piece. She could have easily done it behind that huge dragon and nobody would be the wiser. I see. Indeed, there is a ring of truth to your assertion. You bet. Plus there's a suspicious looking shadow in the footage too. It's towards the end of the footage, just before the dragon hits the stage. It might be easy to just see it for yourselves. Yeah, I've been wondering about that. It's only for a split second, so it's hard to catch. No, it's not. Oh my god, video game. Are you really thinking I'm that stupid? Now that you mention it, I suppose it does look that way.
Yes.
This witness is just trying to
Mr.
ram
Hat
his
did
theory
it.
down our throats, Your Honor. And that's not all. Aren't we forgetting that the witness willfully edited the sword switch out of the footage? You see? There's your second misunderstanding right there. Your Honor, would you mind if I testified about it? I've seen people testify on TV and I've always wanted to give it a shot. That would have been fine with me. It's quite unexpected. It threatens to disrupt the karmic course of this case. Hey, lighten up, pretty boy. You're gonna like what I got to say. Promise. Oh boy. Very well. However, if you do anything to impede the lost rights for the victim, I'll have you removed. Alright. Rudder Reddins, the ratings Raya, now Kaiser of the courtroom. I'm taking over the floor, so listen up, loyal viewers. Oh god, his fucking permanent DreamWorks face. Footage is meant to be edited, I tell you. Scenes are spliced together and longer boring scenes are cut out. All the stations edited footage this way. It wasn't like it was done maliciously or something. It was just a coincidence the particular scene was cut. It wasn't intentional. What? You got some proof that I had an ulterior motive for editing that footage? Fuck yeah, dude. I see. So you're saying it was a coincidence that the sword swapping scene was cut? That's right. Glad you got the picture. Coincidence? Just a little too convenient if you ask me. Ooh, an objection. How cool. I sure as packs a lot more punch when you hear it live. Do that again. I want to get another shot from a different angle. My objection is not for your entertainment. And cut. There. You got some good stuff right there. Mr. Reddin's filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Whoops. My bad, Judge. And if the defense has an issue, it can point it out during its cross-examination. Here we go again. Do we? Music is real good in this game though. And enjoying it a lot. don't think we have anything we can directly present to the game. What other scenes did you cut? Huh? Oh, no others, I guess. You mean you only edited out the sword switching trick scene and nothing else? Don't you think it's too much of a stretch to claim that as mere coincidence? No matter how artificial you find the affair, stranger things have happened on their own. That is, unless you have something with which to prove otherwise, Defense. Well, you have a valid criticism of Mr. Reddin's testimony, feel free to counter with evidence. It sure make things easier if we had some. I think the defense team needs to be edited out of this trial, that's what they need. I have to clean up this footage later. He isn't really gonna put this on TV, is he? Trying to prove malicious intent is tough. All he has to do is say it was all a coincidence. We need to find some kind of foothold if we want to make any progress. This guy doesn't seem like the type to slip up, so just have to get information out of him bit by bit. Okay, so that means press everything. Thank you.
Hold it!
Really? I've never heard anybody say that. It's common knowledge in the TV world. You got any idea what a snooze cruise it'd be to watch a magic show without editing? A magic show like that one, anyway. That was ice cold. Anyway, editing is what makes TV worth watching.
Hold it!
Are you saying you thought there were boring scenes in Mrs. Wright's magic show? You gotta ask. That script and presentation deserve a place on the cutting room floor. Broadcasting that mess as is would have been a complete disaster. That's why I had to edit the footage. It's just what a TV man does. What didn't you like about the show exactly? The whole thing. It was a major snooze fest. Maybe common folk like you don't get it. But the show is only as good as how loud, flashy, and trashy it is. There's plenty of loud and flashy on its own. All you did was add a trash. Suppose each industry has its own way of doing things, just as we in the legal profession focus exclusively on evidence and testimony. Exactly. Whether it's showbiz or the legal biz, we do what we gotta do to get the job done. Anyway, editing footage is just a matter of course in the TV industry.
Hold it!
It wasn't done maliciously, huh? But I get the distinct impression that you bear feelings of ill will towards Troop Grummery. Huh? What makes you think that? Things that you yourself have said. You'll see. I'll dig up the dirt and expose the dark heart behind the sweet smile. I'll prove those Grummery magicians are all a bunch of lowlifes. And I also get the impression that you felt this way for a long time. Words such as those can be interpreted in many different ways. For example, although I bear the defense no ill will, I would not hesitate to say that he is a good-for-nothing lout of a lawyer. You bear me no ill will, could have fooled me. And yet, it is the truth. I'm only strict on you as it seems you have strayed from the path. If you have any objections, Mr. Justice, please make your case with evidence in the future. Mr. Reddins, please continue your testimony. Of all the scenes you could have cut, why the sword switching trick? That seems like too much of a coincidence to me. Oh, so now you're gonna tell me how I'm supposed to edit my programs, big shot? Start being the boss kid. You gotta make the tough choices like which content gets cut. Well, let me ask you this. Why exactly did you make such a tough choice in this case? You wouldn't understand, champ. It's all about an artistic vision. I tell you. People tell you how to do your job when they don't know the first thing about it. I may not know TV, but I know evidence law, and boy do I have some for you, champ. I might not be able to show that your selective editing was intentional. However, I know you bear the defendant ill will, and this is the evidence that proves it. Really now? This one, right? The prank script?
Clipboard to 4th, I think.
Oh shit. What happened? Why is the... Hold on. Okay, it crashed for some reason.
I thought the falsified contract would be used.
Yeah, but...
It froze.
Yeah, I know. No. Gingy, you have to fucking... Hold on. Present the clipboard? Really? Not the prank? Okay, alright. Well, here goes.
Take that!
And it was wrong. Or not. Huh? What's that you got there? This is a contract you had Miss Wright signed just before the magic show. This contract between the first party, Take-Two TV, and the second party, Miss Wright reads, if, through the fault of the second party, the show must be cancelled in part or in full, the second party will pay $3 million as compensation to the first party. $3 million? That's a completely unreasonable sum. I couldn't agree more, and of course Miss Wright doesn't have that kind of money. Nevertheless, Roger Reddins had her sign this unreasonable contract anyway. Or more accurately, he conned her into signing it. Conned her? How did he do that? There's a trick to the clipboard that was used by Mrs. Wright to sign her contract. Okay, this is the other problem of the game where it suddenly goes way too fast for you. Like, I would have expected this to come way slower, way later, but whatever, fine. It houses carbon paper that can secretly copy her signature onto other documents. Oh, come on now, that's quite a nasty accusation you're slinging my way. For starters, you don't have any proof I had anything to do with that carbon paper stuff. Just because Trucy and her agency can't pay up, that doesn't mean I conned her. But $3 million? That's totally out of reach for the average person. In any case, this is important new information. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Reddins. Also, like, the game didn't give you the save point in the fucking recess either. It's just like, fuck.
Hold it!
There's the proof. This clipboard is yours, though, isn't it, Mr. Reddins? Well, it belongs to the TV station anyway. How much I know. It was an old prop from one of our TV shows that got used by mistake. Or maybe you used it on purpose. To calm Miss Wright. Mr. Reddins has already stated that he did not. Mr. Justice, please do not use this trial to try to get out of paying your agency step. It's not what I'm doing. Proof Mr. Reddins is connected to the carbon paper, huh? If Trucy's signature was copied onto the fake contract, then there must be an original contract that Trucy actually did sign. True, but I bet Mr. Reddins is too savvy to leave something like that behind as evidence. But what if her signature was copied onto more than just a fake contract? Like a third document with Trucy's signature on it? Yeah, the note is what I gotta do now. Right? Oh yeah, right. Hey, what are you guys whispering about? Let me continue my testimony. Whoops. Ah, fuck you, game.
Objection!
You must be quite the con man if you can fool a magician with a simple trick. But if you think you can con a lawyer, you're very much mistaken. Hey kid, would it kill you to enunciate in front of the camera? You know, like a newscaster? I'd like you to take a look at Mrs. Wright's signature here on this note. Now let's compare that signature to the one here on this contract. Well, would you look at that? They're exactly the same. That's right, Your Honor. Not just similar, but exactly the same. Nobody can sign their name in exactly the same way twice, unless it's a copy. These signatures are proof positive that you can't miswrite. And they definitely prove your malicious intent. Say, not bad, lawyer guy. Didn't know you had it in you. This is really getting interesting now. I'll get great ratings for sure. Don't try to dodge the issue, Mr. Reddins. The fact is that you bear ill will against my client. So the show footage was definitely edited with malicious intentions. Isn't that right? What a forced argument, defense. All you have really proven is not his ill will towards Miss Wright, but his pecuniary greed. Pecuniary? What the fuck kind of word is that? That's right, I just wanted money, baby. Fat sacks of cheddar, that's all. After all, I never even crossed paths with Tracy before this magic show. So I'd have absolutely no reason to bear any ill will, right? You didn't bear any ill will, huh? Fat chance. This guy definitely has some major hate for Trucy. You'll see. I'll dig up the dirt and expose the dark heart behind the sweet smile. But yeah, we've seen this fucking 3,000 times now. Thanks. Can't prove it with anything, but the things he said all point to that fact. There must be something between the two of them that gave birth to this grudge. Some sort of connection that not even Trucy is aware of.
Pecuniary, adjective, formal, relating to or consisting of money.
Okay. Alright, Your Honor, I'd like to argue that Roger Reddins and Trucy Wright must have crossed paths before. There must be some hidden connection between them. Hidden? Connection? Hidden connection. What is it now? Just what are you getting at, Mr. Justice? It is futile to even ask, Your Honor. Surely it is just another one of the defense's fake, feckless things. You don't seem to have a very high opinion of me, but once you hear my argument, you'll wish you'd taken me a whole lot more seriously. Well, not really. Very well then. Do proceed. Did you figure something out, Apollo? Nope, not a thing. What? That was just some good old-fashioned bluffing, courtesy of Mr. Wright's fine training. I hope you know what you're doing. If you're going to make such a bold claim, Mr. Justice, I hope you're ready to elaborate. What is this hidden connection between the defendant and Roger Reddins? They're dating. That sleight of hand trick Mr. Reddins did during the recess earlier. What if Mr. Reddins is a magician too? What if? I believe it's up to the defense to fill in the blanks, not me. Well, if he is, he may have had some contact with Mrs. Wright somewhere along the way. Your argument is hardly worth responding to. But by all means, please do continue. As a passage in the sacred scriptures... No, I don't want to read it again. Anything but that. But we saw Mr. Reddins perform a magic trick. He made his video camera disappear in the blink of an eye. Well, I think it would be pretty funny if I were a magician. You must have been seeing things. Want me to introduce you to a good eye doctor? The connection is tenuous, as that is all it takes. Then every magician in the country could potentially bear ill will towards the accused. No? What? You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer, are you, short stuff? You would do well to cleanse that putrid mind of yours. I think I get what they're driving at. Even if he is a magician, it's not exactly a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy, is it? Hold on, I can think of one person. One magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Trucy. Or rather, one magician who has a reason to bear a grudge against Troop Grammary. Oh? No way! Is something wrong, Mr. Justice? Your Honor, the defense wishes to submit evidence at this time. I see. And what sort of evidence do you have for us? Evidence that points to the real killer, the one who had a motive to commit this crime. What? And what have you come up with this time, defense? Trucy Wright is the sole heir to Troop Gramarye and its name. This puts her square in the crosshairs of one particular magician. And this piece of evidence points to that one person with a grudge against Miss Wright. The poster, right?
Take that!
And who exactly are you naming, Mr. Justice? 13 years ago, the great Mr. Roos belonged to Troop Gramarye. But then the trooper ousted him, and Mr. Roos vowed to get revenge on him someday. And what better way to accomplish that than through the ruination of their sole heir? Ruination! But Mr. Roos is the victim, Mr. Justice. You've named a dead man as your suspect. But is he really dead? What do you mean, is he really dead? If the fact that Mr. Roos is the victim If the fact that Mr. Roos is the victim is what's throwing you off, then how about we consider this possibility? What if the man who died on that stage yesterday wasn't Mr. Roos? What? What do you mean the victim was an imposter? Not Mr. Roos? Then what about the real Mr. Roos? It will mean the real Mr. Roos is still alive. That's absurd. And he's right there! Mr. Justice, who is the real Mr. Roos if not the victim of this case? It's all coming together now. Finally see the gimmick, the trick to this entire case.
There he is.
There he is! This should explain everything, Your Honor. The real killer, the one who hated Troop Gramarye and wanted to sully its name. The magician lurking in the shadows who set up a fake Mr. Roos in his stead. Real Mr. Roos is...
Take that!
But that's... Yes it is. Roger Reddens is the real Mr. Roos. What? Him?
Objection!
Oh, although, can't possibly have proof to support such an outlandish theory. It's not a bad idea for a soap opera, but not even die-hard fans of the genre would stick around past the pilot. You want proof? Well, I got proof. You can prove it by... proving that the Mr. Roos in yesterday's magic show was a fake. And to do that, I just need you to look at this spot on this poster. Oh, the cut. The cut, isn't it?
Take that!
Yeah. This is the injury Mr. Roos sustained while practicing a magic trick 13 years ago. However, the video the victim shot of himself shows no trace of that injury. Oh my, you're absolutely right! Now, Mr. Reddens, what do you suppose we'd find if we took a look at your right forearm? Is there by chance a nasty 13-year-old scar under that sleeve of yours? Well, Mr. Reddens, why don't you roll up your sleeve and let the court have a look? Or are you hiding something else up there? Come on now, I've nothing up my sleeve. I don't need to hide anything up there because I require no tricks or
Is there a
gimmicks.
bullet in your shoulder?
You see, my magic is the real deal. Is this what you were hoping to see? He's even tipping his hat. He's even tipping his hat. Jesus. Just as I thought. That's right, I'm the forgotten magician, abandoned to the dark honor stage of history. The great Mr. Roos. This...
I'm so glad for that video.
Me too. It's totally absurd. Ha ha ha, how ironic, wouldn't you say? That this odious mark carved into me by true Grommery will bring me back into the limelight once more. Strange are the karmic threads before me. If the witness is the real Mr. Roos, then who is the victim who perished in the magic show? He was but a fan, met him in one of my programs several years ago. He said he had to become a magician out of admiration for the great Mr. Roos. In confidence, I told him my true identity and let him take on my mantle. And when did this man take over for you? Not 2 years ago. Taught him my tricks, even acted as his producer. And so a mere amateur became a popular magician overnight, courtesy of my magic on the stage called television. Hope you enjoyed the show. You really had us all fooled. Mr. Reddins, or should I say, Mr. Roos, in your hatred of Troop Grommery, you killed the victim, Mr. Mystery, and this set up Mrs. Wright to take the fall, didn't you? You did it all just to tarnish the Grommery name. Ha ha ha. I have no idea what you're talking about, boy. I set up the prank, that much is true, but it was simply a harmless joke and trucy, I assure you. Why is he rhyming? Yet she learned of the plan and made use of it to commit murder. That is how strongly the criminal element runs in the blood of the Grommerys.
Objection!
But if it was a secret prank plan that very few people knew about, couldn't you have been the one to use it for murder instead? Yeah. Yikes. Ah! His head. Heh, just kidding. What the fuck was that? Heed my words, lawyer lad, for I fear your grasp on reality is slipping. I do believe I told you that my magic is real. It employs neither tricks nor gimmicks. Enough of the ambiguity. Why don't you make your point already? My alibi is as pristine as ever. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Shadmati? I suppose that is correct. Each witness does have a solid alibi. What? Why did you forget about that? We call defense that at the time of the magic show, Mr. Reddins was a Take-Two TV. A fact that many people can easily attest to. Ah, that's right. Not all about that. Oh, so what do you think, Your Honor? Would you like me to testify on the matter? I think you better. Please tell the court more about your alibi. Very well then, on with the show. Are you watching, Magnifique Grommery? The time has finally come for magic to snuff out your precious pedigree. Grommery line will be no more. How about that for a malicious intent? Anyway, I was at the TV station at the time of the Penrose performance. I was busy working on another TV program. I could spare no time for the magic show. You ask my staff if you doubt my claim. And there it is, a simple and perfect alibi. No tricks, no gimmicks, just the truth. You understand now, perhaps? I did not grace the theater with my presence until after the incident. How could I have committed the murder? His staff did say he was there at the station. It sure does sound like a rock-solid alibi. But that can't be right. If Mr. Reddins is the killer, he'd have to have been at the theater. There's gotta be a hole somewhere in this story. I assure you there are no holes on Mr. Roos's stage. No tricks, no gimmicks. True magic doesn't need trapdoors to escape through. Do enjoy my show to the fullest. My real alibi. Okay. Time to press everything, right?
Hold it!
But you did come to the theater eventually, isn't that right? Indeed. Anxious to see how the show was progressing, I made my way to the theater. Let's see, my journey took about 10 minutes by car. Could he actually have been at the theater during those 10 minutes killing the victim? Ha ha ha, allow me to stab at you reading your mind. Aha, could I have been at this theater during those 10 minutes killing the victim? How in the... But no, I took a taxi. The driver can attest to that. Feel free to call the taxi company if my word does not satisfy you. The driver is a big fan of the ratings, Raya. I even gave him my card. The driver's card? That was very clever of him. You might as well give it up, lad. Questioning real magic is a fool's errand. Besides, you know very well that I was doing at the time of the incident.
Hold it!
What was this other TV show you were working on? My own special project, you see. One moment. Perhaps this is more appropriate. It's a ratings Raya special production. Yeah, hang loose, baby. It's called Desperation Regeneration. You switch personas just to say that? What's the show about? Washed up has-been singers and comedians get together and play musical chairs. The winner of the game is given a second chance at their career. Priceless prize for chumps who washed up too early in life. Sounds great, right? Might I suggest you appear on that show, Mr. Justice? As the ex-lawyer who used to make ridiculous bluffs in court, I'm faded sadly into obscurity. I'll let the ratings Raya produce my TV debut? Not in his lifetime. You have great reactions. Who knows? TV might be your true calling. Hey, whose side are you on? In any case, I was overseeing production of this program during the Penrose performance.
Hold it!
How do we know those staff members aren't in cahoots with you? I'm making my business to perform solo. My magic has neither need nor want of assistance. After all, one of them could reveal the secrets behind my magic, could they not? But he doesn't trust anybody, huh? It's the complete opposite of Trucy. There were many people there in the studio audience who saw the witness as well. Even if you have been able to persuade his own staff to cover for him, he could not have convinced so many complete strangers to do the same. He really has made a rock-solid alibi for himself. Yeah, it's almost too good, you know? It's eerie how perfect it is. It's all been revealed to you now?
Hold it!
I've got it. Do you have a brother? A brother that looks exactly like you, maybe? Again with the twin business? I think the audience will let you get away with using the same gimmick twice in a row. You do not believe in defense, why not investigate for yourself? Though I'm sure your efforts will prove to be thoroughly fruitless. Yeah, I guess the twins theory is a little far-fetched. This alibi really is airtight. I believe we've heard enough. While I believe the witness does indeed harbor some ill will against the defendant, there's no reason to doubt that he was at the TV station at the time of the incident. Facts prove it was impossible for the witness to have been involved with this crime. These lost rights for the victim have dragged on long enough. The soul of the victims of... Apollo, Trucy will be thrown in prison, and will be out of a job. But if you catch tasty fishies, will you sell me some at a good price? I told you, I have absolutely zero intention of going off on a tuna boat. Think, Justice, you have to figure this out. It's no use. Can't find a single flaw. So what now? Turn it all around, as always. Ho ho ho, behold my never-ending magic show. Come for the awe-inspiring showmanship of the great Mr. Roos. Stay for my grand illusion until the end of time. I'm not doing that. Wait, is he saying that we're still trapped inside some sort of illusion of his? Think outside the box, dummy. Call it misdirection. Right. Could it be? You know what, Mr. Riddens? I guess we have all been specters to the elaborate illusion you've prepared for us. An illusion that has subtly turned our attention towards something you wanted us to see. What are you going on about, lad? Have you got something, Apollo? I just remembered something Trucy said about misdirection. What a magician says is there really isn't, and what they say isn't there actually is. If we've all been taken for a ride by Mr. Redden's magic, then maybe he's made us see something that wasn't really there. It's time to rethink all of my assumptions about this case. What have we been made to believe was there when it actually wasn't? What have we taken to be absolute facts of this case? That he's dead, I guess. If I reevaluate the validity of all these things, then just maybe... Athena, there's something uncanny about this case. Okay, what is it? Reddens' alibi. It's too perfect. That's true. It's like it's impossible to break, no matter how hard we try. But maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's exactly what he wants us to think. I'm not following. We're not making any headway here because we've been so focused on breaking his alibi. Oh, I think I get it. You're saying he's using misdirection on us, right? Definitely a possibility. What the defense care to share with everyone what it's discussing over there? Your Honor, we believe that if we were to reconsider a certain assumption, we may finally arrive at the truth. In fact, I think we'll even finally see who's hiding behind the curtain, so to speak. And what is this certain assumption you're thinking of? Oi! What are you so mad about? I don't know. All of these have some sort of plausibility to them. But I guess, like, if he was, like, poisoned instead, then he could have died at a more specific time or something. So that seems the most likely... Right, okay. What if the culprit was somewhere other than the theater at the time of the crime? What if there was some way to commit the murder without actually being there? If that were the case, then Mr. Reddens' perfect alibi would become irrelevant.
Objection.
How could one person stab another to death with a sword without physically being there? Furthermore, we all saw what appears to be the culprit's shadow in the footage.
Objection.
But couldn't we just as easily assume that the shadow does not belong to the culprit?
I wish your 3DS streams had the bird cam since the space.
Well, I mean... that would kind of distract from things, I would say. Well, if it's not the culprits, then whose is it? I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm on the right track.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You've all seen something that looks like this shadowy shape before, Your Honor, during the magic show itself. In that case, please point it out in the show footage for us. This thing, right? Mr. Hat, I guess? Is that what I need to present? Oh, after he disappears, okay. The other shadow thing, okay.
Don't screw up.
I'm trying.
Take that!
Doesn't his shadow resemble the suspicious shadowy figure? Now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? Mrs. Wright, could you identify this shadow for the court? Let's see, I believe that's Mr. Hat's shadow. It's from when he was being pulled up from the stage to the catwalk overhead by wire. And could the shadow that's being shown later in the footage be Mr. Hat too? No, that's not possible. After Mr. Hat was pulled up to the catwalk, he stayed up there. In other words, the second shadow is from some other figure being pulled up. Some other figure? I'm afraid you'll have to be more specific. Oh, that's why Mr. Hat was cut, the sword. So I have to show the sword stand, right? Crime photo? Really? What's in the crime photo? I don't understand. What? Why do I need to show the crime footage? Is this crime photo?
Because he's the one that got pulled up there, not the sword.
But he fell out of the coffin. What? I don't understand. So you... What? If you consider what was happening on the stage at the time...
He was faking his death at first, remember?
Yes. But why would he be pulled up? If you consider what was happening on the stage at the time, there's only one answer. The shadow belonged to the fake Mr. Roos. Huh? In other words, Mr. Man of Mystery. Victim? Please take a look at the prank plan script. Mr. Mystery was to pretend to be dead and then fly up into the air after that. Oh, I forgot about that. Isn't that right, Mr. Riddens? Indeed. And what of it? I contend that that's exactly what happened. The victim was wearing a stunt harness around his waist. It was most likely attached to a stunt wire so they could be pulled up into the air. So you're suggesting that after pretending to be dead in the coffin, the victim flew up into the air just as the prank script says? Exactly. We just couldn't see him go flying up because the dragon was blocking our view. And that last trick, ladies and gentlemen, is a true pièce de résistance of the culprit's murderous magic show. And tell me, you've got it all figured out? I think so. If we can just look behind Mr. Reddin's last bit of misdirection, we should finally be able to see the real truth. The victim must have been pulled up the catwalk just like Mr. Hat, and hit the cushioning up there with considerable force. Just have to figure out what else happened up there at the time. I'm ready to elaborate. Why did the culprit make the victim fly up into the air like that? To murder him, right?
Murder.
Yep, good. Just why did the culprit have the victim fly up after he appeared in the coffin? How did the victim actually die, when he was only pretending to be dead in the coffin? If we can figure out how these two questions relate, the answer should become clear. Could it be? Mr. Mystery must have thought he was still just part of a prank when he appeared on stage. He probably didn't suspect a thing as he was being pulled into the air, after Mrs. Wright was called backstage and just as the set piece fell. But the culprit had already planted the real murder weapon in a cushion in the catwalk. It was probably a knife or blade of some sort. What? You mean... Yes, it really was a magical murder. Just as the prank script said, Mr. Mystery was whisked up into the air and straight into a blade there in the catwalk. In other words, this murder was committed remotely through the use of a magic trick. What? Remotely? Using this method, it wouldn't matter where Mr. Reddins was at the time of death. But how exactly does it work, Mr. Justice? Just before the murder occurred, the dragon set piece was up in the catwalk.
I love TAHT, he's being all dramatic in those silly looking shorts and flip-flops.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It and Mr. Man of Mystery were connected to each other by wire at the time. By carrying out the prank plan, Betty made the dragon set piece fall, which caused Mr. Mystery to rocket straight up and into the blade. The cushion was high up enough to be hidden from the audience's view. That's why nobody saw the blade. Oh, then that big gash in Mr. Hat's cape. The blade must have been set up overhead sometime before the magic show. Mr. Hat must have been slashed by two when he was pulled up to the cushion. I can't believe it. I had no idea. I was told that Trucy would freak out if I made the set piece fall. It's the only reason I did it. You were used, Betty. Roger Reddins used you. I thought he was my little puppet to boss around, but it was the other way around. After the incident occurred, Mr. Reddins arrived at the theater. He got the murder weapon and swapped the rubber sword with the bloodied one. That's also when he lowered the victim's body down to the stage. But how did he have time to do all that? When the set piece fell, the audience was evacuated from the building. He was able to do all those things after the fact because there was no one around to see. A horrific murder camouflaged by a spectacular magic show. That sounds like the kind of murder only a magician could pull off. As long as the show proceeded as it was scripted, Mr. Mystery was doomed to die. That's why it was you, Mr. Reddins, who killed the victim, all the way from the TV station. This prank plan, or should I say murder plan, proves your murderous intent. Grammarly!
悟ら今おまどもさましで足し抜けたり合戦をするのか
You dim-witted, ignorant, imbecilic, putrid red pepper. Can't possibly have a counter-argument to make. Talk about not knowing when to let it go and move on. Do you have a rebuttal or something, dude? No blade of any kind was found in the catwalk, which means you have no evidence to support your theory. But Mr. Reddin's retrieved after fact. Which still leaves you with no way to prove your wildly fantastic remote murder theory. But without proof, does it not make more sense to believe that the murder was committed there on the stage? That's where the bloodstained sword was found, after all. As the only person who could have committed a crime there on that stage. Trucy Wright remains the prime suspect. It would appear that what you call truth is little more than a cheap parlor trick. In the end, you have done nothing to prove the accused's innocence. It is time to at least let it go and move on. Are you seeing this, magnifique Grommery? My magic is exacting punishment on your granddaughter. Grommery name is done for. Hollow, we need to hit him with a decisive piece of evidence here. I know, that's just what I was thinking. Mr. Justice, do you or don't you have anything to prove that the witness committed this remote murder you proposed? Of course I do, Your Honor. The entire incident was carried out exactly according to the script. Right, so theoretically there should be no evidence for us to find or use, which means our best bet is to see if something unscripted happened. It's gotta be something Reddins couldn't have foreseen.
Here we go, the final stretch.
Once I find it, that's how I'll expose his murderous trick. Great, Mr. Reddins, because I'm about to reveal the secret to your magic. Bam. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, just some good old-fashioned logic. Oh shit. As long as the magic show went as scripted, the murder would happen without fail. Everything in this case was carefully planned so that no evidence would be left behind. Still, one thing happened that definitely wasn't in the plan. Bonnie made a mistake during Trucy's escape trick. What mistake did Bonnie make?
We're in.
Because Bonnie placed Mr. Hat to the right of the coffin instead of the left, Trucy had to reappear on the side of the coffin opposite to the one in the show's script. The culprit didn't know that when he first arrived at the theater, which means he was bound to make a slip-up when he tampered with the crime scene. Which part of the culprit's cover-up attempt was affected by Trucy's new position? Fingerprints, right? No? Well, he would have to face
Blood
another...
was on the wrong side from his preparations.
Yeah, but like, you know, I thought like he would have to... whatever, fuck it. Thinking Trucy had appeared on the left, the culprit must have put the blood on the left hole. But the blood was eventually discovered in the right hole during the police investigation. If the killer had originally put the blood on the left side, that means he must have tampered with the scene again afterwards to make it line up with the facts. To make the crime scene consistent with the facts, the culprit must have...
Good thing you can't fail this.
Yeah. Swap the coffin sides. Blammo. The left and right panels of the
Rude.
coffin are interchangeable. The culprit must have switched the two panels to make the bloodstain fit the facts, but the switch might have also given rise to something unnatural. Oh, I remember
We're
now.
in. Logic
There was
hacked.
something unnatural about the coffin, and it's just the evidence I need. Yep. Fingerprints. Sorry, Mr. Reddins, but I have some very conclusive proof of your guilt. Another bluff, is it? There's no way you have anything of the kind.
Fingerprints.
My magic is real, no trick. No, there are tricks and gimmicks to it, just like any other illusion. What? Bam. After the murder, you switched the left and right panels of the coffin, didn't you? And because you did, you left behind something very unnatural for us to find. Fingerprinting results. What about them? Let's take a look at the prints the victim left inside the coffin, shall we? If the victim was facing forward in the coffin, his prints should have looked like this. However, what we found was they were facing the opposite direction. It's quite unnatural for the prints to be facing this way, wouldn't you agree? Ah! It is strange, isn't it? But how did they get this way? They got this way because the culprit thought the magic show had gone according to script. The culprit thought Mr. Hat would be on the left side of the coffin, and that Miss Wright would also pop up on the left side, as per the show's script. He then assumed she had thrust the sword into the hole on the left side of the coffin. That's why he put blood in the left hole when he was trying to cover up his crime. But sometime after leaving the bloodstain, the culprit must have realized his mistake. He found out that, due to Bonnie's mistake, Mr. Hat was to the right side of the coffin, and that despite the script, Mrs. Wright had thrust the sword into the hole on the right. In short, the hole with the blood in it was on the side opposite to one choose to use. To make the blood's location fit the facts, he had to tamper with the evidence yet again. So he tried to cover his tracks by switching the coffin's left and right panels. Because the culprit switched the two side panels around, the prints ended up facing the opposite direction. But instead of going to all that trouble with the panels, why didn't the culprit just wipe the blood away and redo it on the other side? I'm afraid that wouldn't have worked, Your Honor, because of a little something called luminol testing. Ah, right, luminol. I almost forgot. Luminol can detect trace amounts of blood even if it's been wiped away, right? That's right, wiping the blood away would have only served as proof of his meddling. How about it, Mr. Reddins? I did a pretty good job at figuring out your trick, didn't I?
Objection.
We're still not done, Jesus. Trucy Wright could have done the same just as easily. You have no proof that it was this witness who tampered with the evidence.
Objection.
Ah, but I do have proof. What? A person who was in the magic show would never have made the mistake of putting the blood on the wrong side. Least of all Mrs. Wright, who surely would have remembered she was on the other side. Oh my, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Why, you impudent. I'm sure you've realized by now, Prosecutor Satmati, that your claim that Mrs. Wright is the culprit just doesn't hold up. Pfft, you and the accused are most certainly bound for hell. Really? Mrs. Wright and I? Because I think you're the one with a ticket there for trying to convict an innocent girl. Alright. Prosecutor Satmati, are you alright? Slam. As for the
What
true
a
culprit,
nerd.
he is someone who knew how the show was supposed to go, but didn't actually see it. And someone who had the chance to tamper with the crime scene after the incident. The only person who fits the bill is you, Roger Reddins. Grammary! All of the secrets to your tricks have been revealed. And with no tricks left, I'm afraid your show has been cancelled. Permanently. All of my secrets have been revealed, you say?
You did EET.
Huh. Don't make me laugh, boy. Mine is the true real magic. There are no secrets to reveal. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, the
TCH.
true power of the great Mr. Roos. Witness some magic far greater than troop grammars. Burn. Crumble. Still burnt though. Fall to my furious flames. Great Mr. Roos. I'll bring an end to y'all. And now for the final heir to the Grammy name. Right here, right now. You too. Shall Huh? No, this isn't right. Ah! No, I didn't do anything wrong. No, it's not my fault. I'm not the one to blame. I'm the victim here. Ah! What? Ah! Okay. Alright.
At least he had a good villain breakdown.
Curse those grammaries. It's all because of them. Even now they won't me. Curse them all to the abyss! Do you really hate us that much? Does your hatred run that deep? Deep enough to kill an innocent man? You're damn right, you have no idea what humiliation I had to suffer. Your grandfather, Magnifique Grammar, he kicked me out after I got hurt practicing my magic. He said I was too unskilled, I would mess up on stage. He threw me out of the troupe just because he was worried about his own reputation. Since I was but a child, it was always my dream to become a great magician. But that Magnifique, he took it all from me. But that's no excuse. That's no reason to do something so evil. Magic is supposed to make people happy, not be used as means for murder. What's a big deal? I just used what I had available to me, that's all. I get it now. That attitude towards magic is why my grandfather kicked you out. You don't deserve to call yourself a magician. Don't deserve? I don't know about that. After all, you were completely taken in by my magic, were you not? If not for that lawyer over there, you will be on your way to prison as we speak. You're right, I didn't see through your tricks. You see? So in the end, Troop Grummery was defeated by the great Mr. Roos. Ha ha ha. You're not fit to lecture me on high, Trucy White. You don't even deserve to call yourself a magician, you naive greenhorn. Okay. Take that, Grammar, you lose. Anyone needs to learn to let it go and move on, it's this guy. This cord on my prison can both burn in the flames of my creation. Okay. Bailiff, take Mr. Reddens away. And bring a fire extinguisher just to be safe. It looks like we've reached the end. I feel as though I've been watching a grand magic show. It was close, but we just barely made it through somehow.
Are we the baddies?
Huh? Why does Trucy look so down? Mrs. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? about to announce my verdict. But I see that wonderful smile of yours. The smile of a true entertainer, as I do. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, this court finds the defendant Trucy right. Hooray, we did it.
Humanity has finally been saved.
You keep saying Mrs. Right, it's Miss.
Mrs. Wright, she's married. Married to magic. Court is adjourned.
You dingus.
Thank you for everything, Polly. Oh, Trucy, grazie a Dio. Eccolo. Now you can open your show tomorrow, just as planned. Yep, and it's all thanks
I'm glad
to you
you
two.
saved everyone's lives.
Your reputation is still ruined, though. You know, with all the TV show stuff. You know, but whatever. Oh, but now that Mr. Roos is gone, I'll need to find somebody to replace him. I don't like the way she's looking at me. Trucy, I'm so sorry about everything. Hey, what are you apologizing for? Now the Reddins who used us were victims too.
Vagina.
You even made an accomplice in murder. But Betty, we have to take some of the blame for this too, you know? Even if we didn't know he was planning to kill Mr. Mystery, we did cooperate with him. It's all my fault, isn't it? Neither one of you is to blame. The only one in the wrong is the person who used the magic to murder him. Rod Reddins. I think I know that. Say what you want, but don't think for a second that I don't still hate you.
He was an evil wizard.
I guess she really does hate me. But Betty, why? I used to be a huge fan of Trucy's. Hey, shut up. I've always hated her. Really? What if you hadn't seen Trucy's magic show? You never would have tried to become professional magicians ourselves, right? Speak for yourself. But Betty, you still have her autograph from that day. Ah! Oh boy. Come on, Bunny, we're leaving. You have to get ready for tomorrow's show. You're really excited about performing Trucy again, aren't you? It's not true. Zip it, asshole. That's Polly. You think I really am a naive greenhorn? Huh? No way! She's not.
They are great.
Why you gotta show me stuff from 10 seconds ago?
In case you forgot, here's a flashback.
Trucy, don't tell me you were
Thanks,
taking what
Captain.
Redden said to heart. Well, maybe a little. I didn't see through his tricks, and I let myself be taken in by his magic. I can't trust myself anymore. Maybe he was right to call me a greenhorn. You shouldn't take stock in his words. He doesn't even know the first thing about you. You're a wonderful grammar
They
magician.
need
You should be proud of
flashbacks
yourself.
because this is a game for little babies.
Thank you, Paula, but what makes you say that? Ah, Jesus, we're doing this again. It's my badge, of course.
The final evidence presentation. The notebook.
Don't lose.
It's because of this. Jeez. The Grammary Creed. Yeah. You keep saying that fucking thing 3,000 times.
Take that.
Show the world your dedication to your troops' creed, even though through all the jeering you kept a smile on your face and won the crowd over.
Objection.
You're everything a Magnifique could have hoped for, and in there, your great magician, Trissy. Great magician? Me? That's why you don't have to worry about what Reddin said. Now, Polly, thanks. Still, couldn't have done it without you. I would have lost my nerve if I'd been alone up there. I was able to keep on smiling because of you. I remember what you said to me in the detention center. Even more flashbacks.
This is ancient history. I
Words
don't
were what kept
remember
me
it
going.
anymore.
I do. And it annoys me. Thank you for the bottom of my heart. I can be everything I was meant to be. Emma? I'm really sorry, Trucy, for everything.
Where is Emma? There she is.
That was quickly answered. But why? But why? Well, I wasn't able to convince prosecutors at Mahdi what a good person you are. And I had to testify against you, too. There's nothing to apologize for. You're just doing your job. You're too kind. Oh, I don't know about... Something wrong, Emma? Oh! Prosecutor Sadmati, what are you doing here? Detective Sky? Yes? I require your forensic experience, forensic expertise in order to close this case. Come, let us go. Wait, Prosecutor Sadmati! Trial is over, Mr. Justice. You and I are strangers once more, with no further need to interact. Strangers? Have you really forgotten all about me? What? You've really changed, no you don't. Telling me to let it go and stuff. What happened to you? Oh, Laria of impure soul. Nothing to say to the likes of you. Are you serious, Nayuda? Now, if you'll excuse me. I guess he's mad. Anyway. There he goes. What was that all about, Apollo? How do you know Persecutor Sadmati? Let's just say we're old acquaintances. Acquaintances? It seems like something more than that. Yeah, well... You don't like to talk about your past, do you? Because you always change the subject. Guess I'll have to talk about it someday. For now, come on, let's forget about the past and celebrate Trucy's future. Sure, if you say so. Hey, it's Mr. Wright. Put him on speakerphone, Apollo. What's up, nigga? Apollo, how's Trucy? What happened at the trial? Did you get a not guilty verdict? Mr. Wright, slow down. Everything's fine. Hi, Daddy. Okay, now. He was found not guilty in a very dramatic turnabout. Plus, we saved the office. It was a great victory for Apollo. Whew, that's a load on my mind. I don't thank you enough, Apollo. Now I know I can trust you to hold down the fort anytime. Me? Really?
Daddy.
Yes, you're a real full-fledged lawyer now in my eyes. Full-fledged lawyer? Still can't wrap my mind around it. Thank goodness you were there to take care of everything. And thank you, Apollo. No need to go that far, boss. Especially not in front of everyone. Oh, and by the way, I won't be able to make it to tomorrow's show, so I was hoping you could go. You'll do that for me, won't you? Of course.
What about those 3 million buckaroos?
Well, the contract was found, like, not thing, because it was forged, you know? So anyway, full-fledged. So Daddy asked you to come to tomorrow's show, huh? As my assistant, right? No, he just asked me to go cheer you on. Okay, then I'll be sure to save you the best seat in the house, Polly. Best seat in the house. I really appreciate the thought, but good, and it's settled. Best seat is on the stage, you dummy. You dingus. You fuck. Idiot. Fucking dumbass idiot.
Objection!
I should have known.
Did that get sorted out? I thought I paid attention to the whole thing.
Well, we've proven that he would, like, fucking Reddens was copying her signature, so that makes the contract forfeit. That this is what you meant. The greatest illusion yet. No tricks or gimmicks here, ladies and gentlemen. This is real magic. Wait a minute, you're kidding, right? It is a trick or gimmick, right? I'm too young to die. No, wait, stop. And that is how Truce in Grummeryland ended on a rousing high note, with a big round of applause and Polly's ear-splitting screams. What kind of an ending is that? Oh boy.
Thank you for the stream, even if it went a bit over time.
You beat the game.
A bit is like...
But this means I should be able to stay up for the movie.
Oh boy. Alright. Well...
Thanks for stream.
for joining me. And good night. Bye-bye.